Hello, everybody, and welcome to the last low ink of Splatoon 2. This is wild. We're this close. I am joined here with Devi, and we are going to be watching the Alpha Bracket, the top teams that competed yesterday and earned their way into this chance at the finals and finally being banned.
We have an OG griller takeover on the mic starting off day 2 of Low Ink. But yeah, we're gonna take a look at the very cool team name in progress. So I'm wondering if very cool team is just the name they just fully came up with, or if they just still had it in progress but forgot about it, and then versus Mean Girls.
I can't really say too much about the Mean Girls. If it were Wednesday, I could predict that they would be wearing pink, but otherwise, we're going to have to see what they pull out.
You want to know the best part?
What?
They're on the Alpha team right now in the PB, so they do have pink. And too bad it's not Wednesday.
Yeah, that is truly a pity. They could have had intense intense weapon select screen synergy there. Man, it has been 2 years and a month now since we were banned from Low Ink. Does it seem like that long to you?
The time's just flown because I was putting like together in the recent meeting, like when you went off to make your other team, and that was literally basically a year ago because it was end of August, and then the year before that's when we were banned from Low Ink. So time has flown, and it's like, whoa. But anywho, we are taking off into this first game. It's going to be Splat Zones on Sturgeon. Let's see what we've got for comps.
Yeah, okay, very, very standard shooter meta comps.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing hugely surprising here. Nox on the Junior, which I believe I've seen before. So both short-range comps, actually. We don't have any jets coming out here. We don't have any, like, heavies or backliners or anything. So they're just going to be scrapping. Here's the armor. Let's see what they do with it. They're trying to charge over onto the green team spinner here, but the good catch on the flank.
Yeah, it's a good catch in the middle there as neutral game going out, and both teams looking towards the spinner as one did try to go in. The only differences here in specials is a Booyah Bomb and an Inkjet, so we can see the Inkjet's probably going to be more of a stall, pushing back kind of method, and the Booyah Bomb, of course, we have for zone take back. Right now, we see Mean Girls here. They have 3 specials at the ready. They popped armor. They want to try to make a move in on this. Missiles now come out a little bit afterwards, which is a nice stagger, but we see an armor being popped already, which from a nice Splat Bomb, by the way. Bubbles coming in right after the Booyah, but they aren't actually going over zone. They're going to push back the other one on the side. This 52, very well staying alive, just staying behind the wall, just not where the Inkjet isn't able to take it down, so they're able to come back in with a second wall, get that Inkjet pick, and we see Mean Girls coming back in to take the zone, and their turn to see how they want to lock it out.
Yeah, good job on the retake from Mean Girls there. They came in very patiently. They didn't rush in. There was a lot of firepower being flung at them, but they took their time. They moved in, and they have control of the zone now. But they would really like to be able to win this fight so they can start pushing up and taking a more offensive position, and it looks like they might be in a position to do that. They've got 3 down, 3 for 1, and Mean Girls is tracking down the last player. They're on the snipe here. Sauce needs to get out of there somehow.
Yeah, Sauce going up there. It looks like they tried to take a similar way in. They tried to take the high ground, but Mean Girls did have it covered. With the squeezer being up there, that's a really powerful spot with it being the longest range that they have. However, Nox or Lappy, one of the two, sticking a bomb up there, picking off the squeezer, and they're able to move in. It looks like they have the prime opportunity to get Cap here. Lappy getting a nice pick with the Inkjet. Cap has been reclaimed, but Mean Girls won the fight.
Yeah, Mean Girls, they lost the zone there, but they were able to hold their defensive formation, and when insert team name here got pushed in too far, they got punished really hard for that overcommitment. They thought that Mean Girls was going to be running away, and they were just like, no, wait, we've got numbers, we can take this.
You can see there's, and you can see here, like, none of them have really pushed up far past the zone in the great spot where I like to call the Great Wall of Sturgeon. But we see they backed up. Specials were coming back in. However, insert team name efforts have not been paying off, as Mean Girls have been there to counter every single push that they've had.
Yeah, it felt like the specials got used a little bit early on Green Team there. They used them, didn't get any picks with them. They got zone control, but Mean Girls is still knocking at the front door right now. With an Inkjet out, they're going to scatter a little bit more, and that's going to give some time for Nox to get back in here and for the lockout to start. Nightmare looks like they're in a sharking position there. Okay, they're on top of Snipe. So it's looking like with the armor pop, they're going to start running in. Aleph here with the bubbles starting to pop them, gets an insta-pop, or rather a bomb off the bubble, gets another one, and then the bubbles on the other side counter it.
Nice.
Wait, this is actually huge. They're probably not going to be able to keep... Wait a minute, Lappy, are you have a hero playing you? Oh my goodness, 13. Oh, they were actually trying to go for a lead there. Like, they had one pick. If they were able to get a second one, they could probably just outpaint and stall the zone there. So, very dangerous situation there, actually, for Mean Girls. They do manage to pull it off, and they've got the penalty. So that is a huge deal for them, and they are going to be feeling a lot more comfortable going into the last minute of this match.
They've shown that they can do it as long as they get them down in time. They do find those key picks and then look at objective there. But it looks like Mean Girls there got 2 more key picks. Make that 3. Lappy's the only one left with this Inkjet, as it looks like the zone's going to be KO'd in Mean Girls' favor.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way, even if you get a direct with every single one of those shots, that you actually cap that zone in time as Lappy. So just an unfortunate situation. The team went 2 down before you could really do anything with it. So Mean Girls looking like they have just a little bit stronger of a lockout. You can see from the KAs, they're definitely winning more fights. So I think that it's just a matter of having to outfight them, really. Some special timings might benefit from being shifted a little bit. It did feel at times like, say, Mean Girls were pushing in with like just an armor. And if you throw 2 specials back at that, you can probably counter that push, especially if you've got the numbers ready to go for it. So I think that there are some adjustments that can be made here. But the teams are doing a good job of not overextending into each other's like pits. They weren't really trying to go in too hard, where you can get wrapped around from the right pit side, right pit for the attacking team. That's something that I see, a lot of fresher teams trying to do, and then getting flanked and realizing, oh wait, we're not in a position that matters anymore. Like Devi was saying on that map, the Great Wall of Sturgeon, there is a point at which you get diminishing returns for pushing further in. You have to get really like all the way up into their spawn to really be able to lock it out. And since that's not super realistic, especially with how little time it really takes to KO a Splat Zone, it's not that long. Generally, you're going to have better luck just trying to stay in mid so that you can cover both your left side and whatever's coming through pit at the same time.
It looks like we have the counter pit coming in. We're staying on Splat Zones, but we're going to Piranha Pit now. I know this is one of my favorite. This is a range map for sure. Although I do see AgroComp still finding their success on here with their lockouts specifically, because they're able to hide underneath the ledges where the range can't fully hit. And can succeed from there, from just shooting up a couple times, timing when they're going to look out, when they're coming forward, throwing bombs up, keeping people back. This is quite the map.
Yeah, it really is an interesting map mode. Like, it's one of the few places where you can see people getting a little bit of use out of Splashdown. It's a place where you see a lot of tent umbrellas. There are a lot of really interesting strategies and like weapon choices that actually work here. I don't know if we're going to see it back in Splatoon 3. I kind of want to, because I really love zones and tower and clan blitz on this map. I don't know what they would do about Rainmaker, because they had to just completely redesign that map from the ground up in Splatoon 2, so maybe that's a reason that we don't see it back, but I don't know. I'm crossing my fingers about it. What do you think, Devi?
I'm not sure. Again, it's been one of my strong ones, but I'm not too sure if there's been that much favorite of it for them to reach the ears and see if it's gonna come back. It'd be cool if it did, but we'll go from there. I'm curious to see how these teams start off. because there's definitely more than one way to start off on this map. And this is what I've seen chat wanting to see. 5-7 is bringing out the bamboo. So there is the range, and that would explain the counter pick.
And we've got a Neo Splash also coming out, trying to go for the bomb rush, for the paint. Missiles are also a very strong choice on this map, but they have already got those on the bamboo, so they can switch the K-shot off of it. Here come the missiles, and we'll see just how annoying they are.
Also, Mean Girls managed to pick off Name and Progress's Junior right off the bat, so that lost quite a bit of paint, and then followed by the splash. So the primary painters got picked off really early, so they were able to get control and move forward, followed by the missiles. However, they haven't been able to take too much of a lock as it's going right back into neutral game immediately, and even Name and Progress is coming back in with more mid control right away, but we see a fight coming in on this left side. Andu coming out with the win on that 1v1, but going into some dangerous area there, as yes, does get picked off by the bamboo.
I actually really like the idea. It looked like there wasn't a lot of follow-up from mid. If there's follow-up from mid there, engaging the enemies on that zone, I think that play works a lot better. But it looked like they just ended up in there alone and just kind of went down for it. But they have managed to cap the zone here. They've got a numbers advantage. Sauce is just sticking around, seeing if they can find a pick somewhere. They're going to get found here, and they do get taken down. So that's a big stagger for, I believe that's Name and Progress in yellow? Yeah, for them to win here.
Yeah, this is a good spot. Nightmare, we're just seeing, just waiting below. They're trying to catch the one up on the top here out to...
Wait, is that
it looks like they're stopping. There is the splash DC. So they're stopping play and you know, just having a time. It's that moment in Toy Story when they all become the toys again, right? They're all just gonna stand still because there's a DC.
I totally see it. I wonder what new options Squid Surge and Squid Roll are going to give us for Squid Partying in Splatoon 3. I'm eager to find out.
Or if there is anywhere, we have the new movement, so you can party with the new movement.
So, yeah, I think I did have it backwards. I was Mean Girls that was able to recap there. Nightmare with a huge KA already on the K52 there. I don't think we saw a lot of those picks, but they're clearly working pretty well with the team to be able to secure those picks.
It was looking relatively, like, we could see how even when one lost control, they were able to come back relatively quickly. We saw that Bamboo was able to get into place, let their teammates forward. A big thing early on, like I said in the start of last game, is the junior on Name and Progress's team got picked off really early, so we lost a lot of paint supply right there. I think they had armor off already, which was all right, but the junior got stuck somewhere. I didn't see where, and then after that, another one fell, so Mean Girls was able to take control from there. But not long after, Name and Progress did come back, so we'll see how this start happens, if they're going to stay the same, or if they're going to twist it up, knowing how each team starts now and how they came out last time.
Yeah. Worth noting, Nightmare running Ninja Squid on that K52, so that kind of signals their intentions are to be sharking a little bit more. Which I think is smart on this map. There are a lot of good sharking spots, lots of ledges that players are going to want to drop over, and not knowing that someone's there at a crucial moment is definitely a huge disadvantage. Nami spotting that there are two on the left-hand side. Let's see if they can start to collapse on this. That might be a potential flank. Nope, they're just going to force them back onto the zone. Oh, great use for the missiles, because now these two players have to back all the way up behind the zone to avoid painting it. And that gives a lot of space on the left-hand side. Really well timed.
And the biggest thing is that when you have these two people together, especially on Piranha Pit, there's a lot of close spaces where missiles can actually be really effective. And if people are stuck really close together, it's even harder to dodge. So those missiles, yes, very well timed, and we see that Name and Progress able to get control, but missiles coming back and we saw most of Name and Progress's team were actually on zone when those missiles were fired. So a lot of paint got put down there. Very nice Booyah Bomb catching two. Lappy forced to jump out, and Mean Girls is now in control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that Booyah Bomb looked like one of them that was just not getting away, but one of them ran into a wall and, you know, little movement mistakes like that, like, actually tend to have a huge outsized impact. You know, if someone falls into the water at the wrong time, that can be so massive for how the momentum swings in a match. Nox probably going to be able to help with the zone cap here on the junior, and they're just going to be spinning around and painting happily for their armors. Sauce looking like they might try to engage even before the armor comes out. There it goes. The missiles come out, and that'll stagger things a little bit.
Sauce here just trying to keep a little bit of high ground, just painting about, not taking anything too risky, but two are able to come around and collapse on it. Very nice call, very nice movement by the two members of Mean Girls there as they come in, and they end up getting an entire wipe on Name in Progress.
Yeah, that's really huge for them. They have a relatively low penalty, and they already had lead, so that's just going to be a lot more difficult now for Name in Progress here to get back in. Bomb Rush comes out. Armor comes out. They're starting to try and move in, but just completely stuffed there. We've got the Booyah Bomb, and they don't even have to use it to really stop the Bomb Rush. They might get capped here, but I don't think they have the numbers to hold it for very long, and they don't even neutralize for too long, so this is a threat for a knockout at this point. Mean Girls looking strong right now. It's kind of a desperation push they need to make at this point. They're not going to have the numbers by the time they need to initiate this fight just to get back onto the zone in time. Good job neutralizing on that side of the zone. They really needed that, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It looks like the paint is too much from Green Team, and the game is done.
There was that one point in the game that we saw where specials both countered each other. However, how they were coming in was, what is it? You could see that Name in Progress, they were coming in on the top left. It was spotted out by Mean Girls, and you could tell it was definitely called out because a couple were moving around. The specials came out basically together. However, the one that did the most damage was the one bubble underneath the left, and it got the initial pick when one was when Name in Progress was trying to push in there. So it was just an immediate stop to what was about to happen. There was not even. It's almost like they were about to hit the start button and they touched it. They touched it, but they didn't press it, and it was already done. So just put it right away. So it was quite the read. Like that was one read there of timing of specials where it's like they knew it was coming right then, right there, and just stopped.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, the enemy team popping a special, like an armor or something like that, that's very clearly visible to the enemy team. Sometimes that's kind of like going to signal that something is coming. Sometimes that's a sign that like, oh, okay, big flashing warning light across the screen, time for me to back up a little bit, or time for me to get in a sharking position because they're going to be dropping over soon. A lot of the time at top level, you don't see the armor used to initiate the push for reasons like that. You see a displacement special coming out first, something like a Booyah Bomb, something like missiles. And then once you've used that displacement special to get your players into position where the enemy team can't retreat anymore, then you pop the armor because that's when you actually want to engage them. A lot of the time, if you pop the armor preemptively, what happens is the enemy team is either going to just back up and eat the pressure and, you know, back up into mid and you wasted all of that time you had with the armor just getting to them, or they're, you know, going to be ready in position to, you know, see you when you drop over because you've just told them that you're going to drop over. So that's something that you'll start to see with the special play at more advanced levels. I mean, quality play from Mean Girls there. Looked like, once again, the K-52 coming in clutch with a lot of picks there. And, you know, if you keep the opponents from painting the zone, you tend to win in splat zones. That's my analysis of that situation.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost as if that's the objective or something. But yeah, Nightmare really living up to their tag name there, being the Ninja Squid Nightmare, that being just there in general, not being fully seen or called out. There was a few times where they were spotted, but some very nice sharks we saw in the corner and pinches from the team as well. But yeah, it was very good. back and forth. Like even Team Name and Progress, like we saw their plan, we saw what they were trying to do. They had a couple good comebacks there, but just definitely well called out and read by Mean Girls, and you can tell even just by seeing the play that the communication is coming out really well from behind the scenes.
So Mean Girls will advance to round 2 of the Alpha bracket. This is a 16-team double elimination bracket that we've got going right now. So they will play against the winner of Mylag Paradise and Audentes Vincent. They are at 1-1 right now in their round 1 match. So going to a deciding game 3, which is exciting, but also means that Mean Girls going to have a little bit of a break before they are going to have to play again. So looking through the teams here that you see in this bracket, Devi, I know that there are a couple there that I recognize. Who do you think is your favorite to win? Who is it that you recognize in there? Like, what can you tell me about the teams that we're seeing today?
Boy, this is tough. Of course, I have a favorite, and I have a feeling they'd be probably yours as well. Good old friends from InkSync, making their appearance here in Alpha Bracket, and they're definitely a favorite. But we're a little bit biased. We're old friends with InkSync, so they're facing in round 1. They're facing Neon Palm Tree. They haven't posted any score yet, so we don't know where they're sitting. Myopsidus will always haunt me for that one clip where I was on mic that they did to ITAP with the 3 clam jumps. That was quite the time.
Yeah, Debbie was just yelling at ITAP like, no way, check the map. You gotta check the map. They're right there. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, InkSync were some old friends of ours. Our very first Ludi season back in, I don't know, like December of 2018 or whatever it was, we got put in a division with InkSync and Destiny Troops and Splat Force, like a bunch of teams that we were good friends and scrim partners with for a good long while after that. So obviously it would be awesome to see InkSync being able to go the distance here in this Alpha bracket and join us in Bandhood going into Splatoon 3. But obviously there are going to be other opportunities for them as well when we move on to Splatoon 3, as has been announced. Low Ink is going with it, and the bands are largely going with it too. So I'm like, well, I'm a little bit disappointed, but I understand.
Update on the bracket: InkSync beat Neon Palm Tree 2-1, so they're moving on. They are waiting for their matchup, which is currently between Myopsidus and Thea, which is also at 1-1. And then Drifting Tide has beat Midnight Chaos 2-0, so they are waiting for Ink in the System and Nameless. Another one that I didn't mention. We saw that, Inked Killers and the Elegant Crusaders are playing round 2. Inked Killers played Blue Moon. They're also another one that has made a lot of progress as of late. I've been in the streams of Jazz and Leaf and all them, and they're a great crew. Blue Moon's a good one to shout out. I have a soft spot for Blue Moon, and like I said, they've been making a lot of good progress lately. They are climbing up, and it's good to see them back up here in Alpha in this final low ink of Splatoon 2.
Mm-hmm. Inked also, they've been doing a lot of work to get practice. That they exist in a really, really huge server full of teams to scrim that they maintain, and so they're getting a lot of practice all the time. They're getting a lot of interest in their team, and I think that sort of thing outside of just their gameplay can be a huge advantage, because it just means that they're getting the kind of practice that they need more frequently when they set something up like that for themselves. That sort of, I guess, social infrastructure, that sort of networking does pay off a lot in this scene. It pays to have a bunch of teams around you that you are friends with that can give you good practice. So they're doing pretty well for themselves, and they have secured themselves the 1 seed in the alpha bracket here. So let's see if they can make good on that here. But we're just waiting on another one of these matches to finish up so that we can get a round 2 match on stream. Really looking forward to that and seeing where all of these teams are and what they're running in this, final sort of hurrah for Splatoon 2 that we've got here in Loing.
Yeah, and it looks like the set we're waiting for is we're waiting for Ink in the System and Nameless to finish up, and I keep refreshing the bracket just to see if there's a score post, and just like post your scores, kids. As it goes on, so Ink in the System is also a recognizable name, seeing in the community. Nameless, I'm looking at the roster. Of course, I recognize a couple names on there too, specifically Ader. I've worked with Ader as they subbed on AV. Wonderful person, so we'll see who moves on here.
Yeah, I've been both a TO and a player, and as a player, I know that reporting those scores is not always the first priority in my head. My head is racing about how that last match went and what we can do differently and what's working. But also as a TO, I've been like, oh my goodness, I really hope they're actually playing. I can't tell that they're actually playing, but I really hope they are.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like it's literally this one round that hasn't finished yet. Otherwise, everyone else is going on. So Mean Girls are facing My Leg Paradise as they won 2-1. Ink Sync is playing Myopsidus. Myopsidus is 1-2-1, and then of course Inked Killers and the Elegant Crusaders. They've actually already started by the looks of it.
And I beat you to hitting refresh. The other round is actually done now.
Is it now?
It is going to be Ink in the System versus Drifting Tide.
Woo! We have round 2! All right, so
I find it really funny that you were like, I'm just hitting refresh over and over again, and then it was I who saw it first.
The one time I put my mouse down, I actually took my hand off the mouse as I was reading.
You should do that more often. That'll make it happen.
Okay, so next time I'm going to stop hitting refresh, and then it should be done, right? Okay.
Exactly. That's the way this works.
All right, so Ink in the System with a couple other familiar names. I see Oliwan and X-Not relatively frequently, whether I'm lurking in people who are playing League or playing League myself. That's where I see them the most. But Ink in the System, just a team in general that I've seen a little bit of everywhere. So I've seen them play before.
Quite often in solo, and you can tell that they're just active players because they're playing every time that you are. Like, wow, I play this game a lot, don't I?
Yeah, you always have those few people that you see whenever, like, the same time you're doing League or whenever you do solo. With me being more of a League person, I have more of a connection to the teams that I see. And I know you probably remember too when we would League all the time when you were still with the Grillers. Geek Squid was the #1 team we'd run into in League almost every time we leagued as a team. And it was great.
Those guys were grinders, and they got good that way, They got a lot stronger as a result of all of that practice. So it's cool when you do see a team like that, and you're kind of able to watch them as they grow. It's kind of what it's all about, really, is being that shonen anime protagonist.
And nowadays in pairs, I have a jet squelcher friend who I always run into, and actually we found each other on Twitter. It was like, oh my gosh, I finally can say GG's for how many times I've run into you. And then they actually made an appearance in my stream the other day, and we had a very nice reunion.
Nice.
It was so good. It was so heartwarming. It felt great. That made my day.
That's awesome. All right. Ink in the System versus Drifting Tide. We're getting started with that. Obviously, they're going to be in weapon select for a little bit. So X-Not. Do you think they play Nautilus?
I'd hope so. If not, it's just going to be one of those people who always have like the weapon in their name, but they don't actually play it.
I knew
And
a
I can't
player
remember.
whose tag was Hydra who played Octobrush, and that always annoyed me.
Well, here's the
Hydra,
thing.
if you're out there,
They're,
what's going on, man?
they've been playing a bunch of different weapons lately. They're mainly Blob now, so...
SMH. If you're gonna name yourself for the character, you gotta, for the weapon, you gotta commit to it.
Well, they have
Yeah.
not. So, K-Sheen's here with the try coming out. Ninja Squid try. We see a Double Bomb Junior. Squiffy making an appearance here. I actually see Squiffies coming out here quite often because Squiffies can control underneath and on these lamps, so they can do basically what a backline can. Even though it's shorter range, they have the mobility to hop around and get those shots. However, not coming in with this machine on the side, just denying the bucket by the looks of it here, and pushing everybody back to car right away.
Yeah, X-Not completely uncontested on that flank around. The Squiffer never even saw it coming. I was worried for them as they started pushing in against the laser, but Squiffer, I guess, just got distracted by what was going on bridge and got hit in the back. So first hold is going to be in the favor of Drifting Tide here. But 2 picks go down for either side. I don't think that's going to change the status quo. Velvet, the only one up at this point, and they're going to have to back off a little bit if not... and JF decide to go in and push them.
It looks like they opted to wait for teammates to come in before they moved up. However, at the same time, the other team is also respawning, and they're going to come back right away, so they end up actually picking off the try, and they're looking for a win. The splash goes down in return. Flings are getting a nice pick on the flank here with, from the one that was trying to flank, and is going to take bridge here, just putting Ink down from around. It looks like there's 1-for-1s going everywhere, but right now it's Ink in the system that's trying to get majority of the control, but the splashdown just cornerly painting it. It looks like they've got the Junior on the other side doing a lot of paint, and only one coming in with the K-Shot on the side, able to pick off the people contesting the zone, and this now is back in favor of Drifting Tide.
Drifting Tide is being very confident right now. They're just trying to fight. Like, they're not playing for traditional like special pushes. They're taking fights when they're down one player, and you know the other team was able to cap the zone, but they were not able to hold the zone as Drifting Tide just came back in and seized control again. So we'll see if a little bit more pressure gets put on them here, but right now they've got 2 down. I don't see this game going in Ink in the System's favor right now. They just do not have the numbers to even get to the zone, let alone paint it enough by the time they get there. And X-Not going to do a great job of skirmishing to waste their time. Gets the pick for it too. Very solid mechanical play there by Drifting Tide. I think the whole story of that match was just they were winning the 1v1 fights. They were taking 1v1 fights, they were winning them, and the other team wasn't really able to get full control. I think if Ink in the System plays a little bit more around getting a special push going, they can probably use those advantages to take some of these fights that Drifting Tide is showing that they're willing to go in on and push them back a little bit more decisively, but as it was, they were just kind of opting in for a bunch of like 1v1s and scrappy skirmishes that ended up going in Drifting Tide's favor overwhelmingly.
Drifting Tide as well, like we saw, like just not going popping off right off the bat there, taking a good side, catching them out in the corner. You saw that there was a distraction, and yeah, it was kind of towards bridge, just looking at the primary focus. And sometimes, yes, you want that bridge control as much as you can, but sometimes it's just not the place to take at a given time, and you want to keep an eye on another area more in particular. I know this is kind of something that goes through my mind, especially when I see like 2 looking at bridge that I know I definitely can't contest, so I'll take a look more at objective, or I'll see if I can put something out over top for my teammate to work with, or on the side, and I'll focus something. I'll focus more objective rather than above it on the reef in particular. And in this case, looking at the prime position spot over what's coming around through objective, definitely turned a bit and just didn't have the proper coverage to fight that machine coming in from down below, and then the machine able to get just full control again, just pushed everyone back into the car. And yeah, I do agree with you, if there was more of a special push coming back in from Ink in the system. I think they would have been able to, one, spot out the machine earlier on, so then they could single it out and push it back. And then they'd be able to move in together with all of the fall-off that they have, because that team was going more on kind of the fall-off play, where like the Flingza can get a flick off, and then the try can follow up right away with them already being pre-damaged. That's kind of how a comp like that runs. But they just couldn't get there with the amount of pressure that Drifting Tide was continuing to put on them.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where you get everybody watching one area, and that ends up not going as well. Because you think the right side is a way for the enemy team to access the zone. It is a Splat Zones game. You do have to be like paying attention to the areas that can control the zone. And yes, Bridge is one of those places, but it is a means to an end. Bridge is not... Having Bridge does not mean that you are scoring, right? You've got to use Bridge to control the areas that matter. And so if somebody is just like on the zone right now, you're not thinking like, how can we control Bridge? You also have to partially be thinking, how can we use Bridge to our advantage against these people who are on the zone? You know, how can we use this vantage point? If that watchtower of a bridge is not functioning to be able to see someone just nakedly running in on the left-hand side with no support, then you need to think about, you know, what are we actually trying to take advantage of this part of the map for? Tower Control Starfish main stage is coming up. Like, we've still got that Squiffer back.
Looks like Velvet opting to bring out a K-Sheen of their own for Ink in the system, while trading for the Tri-Slosh for the other side. So we got a lot of extra fall-off for Drifting Tide this time around, while Ink in the system's looking to go more aggro. This Octo Shot, able to find the flank, but not able to get the pick on it. So 2 able to come in from this right side flank, getting the, it looks like the K-Shot was taking the initiative there, but the entire of the team was kind of moving up, trying to get control here, but it looks like they were pushed back by the Squiff. So from what started off as a flank from there, it still ends up in neutral play. No major play ends up coming out from this initial one flank.
Yeah, there was a trade back there, but I want to point out how well Drifting Tide is playing off of flanks. Because the thing about flanks that, you know, people get wrong in solo queue all the time is they try to go for one as a solo player without paying attention to where your teammates are. It's more important to know where your teammates are on a flank than it is to know where the enemy team is, because your teammates need to apply pressure that forces the enemy team to look somewhere else. That's how a flank works. If you run into the enemy team and all 3 of them are looking at you, that's a disadvantageous fight. So Drifting Tide doing a really good job. I was about to say Destiny Troop. Drifting Tide doing a really good job here of following up so that those flanks actually work by pushing into the middle. We saw a JF and somebody else doing that off of that first flank. This is a big special push right here. They've got an Inkjet to try and control this area. They're already through first checkpoint. So Drifting Tide biding their time here, but they haven't been on tower in a little bit. Oh, fantastic full pinch from both sides there, coming in from Drifting Tide to stop the tower push, and now they are seizing control of the enemy team's snipe very quickly.
This is actually something that Ink in the system didn't do on their push. When they initially got the tower and went forward, the Tower Rider, which was the Swiffer on the tower, was the furthest forward, and the rest of Ink in the system was behind it. They never seized control of Snipe just as quick as Drifting Tide is right now, but they still managed to break checkpoint with the extra pressure that they had, so it was definitely good on them. But they didn't have that extra forward control to clear the path ahead that Drifting Tide is doing right now. So as you can see, with the amount of pressure that they had, able to find this checkpoint, they're pushing ahead of it, making it clear so that the tower can actually move ahead. They're able to reclaim lead here. However, it's not too far. So if Ink in the system is able to do a similar kind of push that Drifting Tide has just done, and they're able to take control of these areas once they have the advantage to, they can reclaim this lead.
Oh, this is a huge play right here. You're getting one, forcing another player out of position, and they're able to get another pick. There's a player behind them. Velvet deciding to go after them, but they really want to be focusing on the tower push here. Trying to stop the flank here. Okay, they finally managed to pull it off.
They chased
that player halfway around the map, but in the meantime, they were riding the tower. and that Drifting Tide got a little bit scrambled there. They had people in all different angles except in front of the tower, and really it is the spot that is in front of the tower that matters the most. That's where you're going to be able to defend the best. That's where they have to push through you instead of you pushing to them, instead of them being able to just run away on the tower. And oh my goodness, they need to get on now. They barely stopped the tower from KOing to momentum here, but not in time to stop Divya from getting back up on top and finishing the job. So Ink in the System putting one back on the board in pretty convincing fashion too. That first push wasn't looking super strong. You know, they're not securing those important defensive strongholds in front of the tower that you need to clear for the tower to pass through safely. But when Drifting Tide decided to go a little bit too crazy on the flanks, they had one person over on the left-hand side, one person over on the right-hand side, two people behind the tower. It's just not enough of a defensive formation, and they're going to get picked off one by one that way. And so Ink in the System was able to capitalize on that situation, punish them really hard by getting pick after pick and keeping them staggered so they could never pose a strong defensive wall, and they got through their checkpoints really quickly that way.
Yeah, the big thing there where we had the cat and mouse chase with the Junior, I was surprised with how long it stayed alive. However, it was a big turning point, but it did. It still took a couple members of Ink in the System away from the push as well. So it looked like that the two that were still in front, putting out special and all that, were able to take decent control for that lead, because as soon as the Junior ended up coming back towards the tower, it also put the focus of those two members from Ink in the System back towards it as well. But I do agree in this situation, if the Junior could have, just coming back and being able to get bombs ahead of it sooner, because the Junior, I believe I said that they were running a double spot bomb build, if I remember right. They have the bombs to definitely protect that corner. And it was just a missed kind of opportunity there. I mean, they did do a decent job distracting, but they kind of took it right back into the play. So all the members of Ink in the System were just able to do what they did there and just keep breaking the barrier forward.
Gonna be another tower control map here. This is... It's interesting, because assuming this is a counter pick, because we just played two of the same modes in a row, that means that Drifting Tide decided to counter pick onto the same mode that Ink in the System decided to counter pick on. So it must just be a difference in the map or something like that they're... or maybe this is just something they had prepared.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could be a map that's definitely more practice. We can also see that they're running the double buckets again, basically same comp, and they're just gonna look and try to take. I imagine they're definitely gonna go for the stack control. We've seen not being pushed up on the flanks and not in the machine and the try. This is a dominant map for both of these ones, so they're really going to rely off of pushing with each other here, but not just waiting for their prey.
They're in behind, but is that going to help? They barely managed to get a trade out of it because they just get collapsed on right away. That's not the most powerful position, but Drifting Tide able to get another one with Aliwan pushing up here. They might be in some trouble. It's going to be 2 for 2. Very messy fighting over on the left-hand side, and that's not really an area that matters that much for the objective push. Drifting Tide has generally had a little bit more map control here, but they've also, burned specials a little bit early to get it, and so Ink in the System has just been patiently waiting over here for their time where they actually do have that advantage. Right now, though, the armor is out for Drifting Tide. They do get another pick. The missiles go out as well. Probably just going to get a little bit of information and not much more out of that at this point. But with a machine in this position, this is really difficult for them to deal with because this can hit up over ledges so well. This can paint so quickly with its fizzy bombs. It's going to be a really important tool for harassing the enemy team and stopping them from putting as much pressure on the tower as they could. Tower is already through second checkpoint, and there's just no holdup in the pressure. X-Naut is still on their bunker, and they've just run out of space. Ink in the System has nowhere to drop. They can't get anywhere near the tower. That was flawlessly played from Drifting Tide there. Just insanely fast knockout, such incredible control that was just never really contested. Really well played.
Yeah, this was something that they had ready, and there was a big kind of misread there from Ink in the System that I saw, is like how you saw how they had like all control. There was nowhere to drop, and that was something that they took earlier on. 3 of them dropped into that earlier and just got immediately denied as they tried to take a fight. I also didn't see if they had a special going on, if they had armor to maybe that convinced them to drop there, but that was going to be their one place to go. However, I don't think they had anything to go with it to have some sort of backup plan for the drop, because I saw 3 of them down in the bottom corner, and yeah, just one at a time went down. It was almost like a split second, they're gone, and that's just complete control. So then when they respawn, again, there was still nowhere to drop. They had the K machine up in one corner and everyone else painting the bottom, but yeah, just full control there.
This is a best of 5, so it's not over yet. Round 1 we saw was best of 3, but this round best of 5, so they're going to have one more chance. Ink in the system is to potentially bring this to a game 5. But Drifting Tide has to be feeling good about that one. That looked like a really established game plan, and they executed so well on it. So let's see what's in Ink in the System's bag of tricks.
Are they gonna pull out long range here? Is what I want to know. Usually when someone pulls out new Albacore, they have some ranged weapon in the back pocket to pull out when you see all aggro. And it could be a stronger suit. So we could also see the Squiffer here potentially going longer range, but they've been playing Squiffy throughout the entire time, so I doubt we're going to see a change from the Squiff. But I'm very curious to see what... oh, maybe that is, because this is their counter pick. I had it backwards. Whoops. Maybe Orbism is going to play a different charger in this case, with Albacore coming out.
Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, people can flex back and forth between the chargers if something longer ranged is wanted. Could see something like an E-Leader out here. This is definitely not unheard of for... Just
no, they're going all short!
Oh, wait, no, they got a blob and a
no,
rapid.
They got a blaster. Yeah, I keep mixing up the sides. It's just... Whoops. I'm known to reverse things a lot.
Yeah, it's all good. But yeah, this makes a lot of sense. They've got these strong mid-range options. Those are really hard counters to frontline weapons trying to push in. You get crossfire between 2 of those weapons, and it is very difficult to deal with, especially if you don't have something that's longer range that can contest something like the Rapid or the Swiffer from outside of their effective range. So this is going to be kind of a nightmare for Drifting Tide to try and find space on the map that's safe, especially if Divya and, I couldn't quite see who the Rapid player was there, are able to get spaced apart from each other and take the same fight from off angles. A huge shark there from Drifting Tide, and NYMVP in position here to start taking control of Street. That is one way that you can stop this kind of a comp, by denying them a vantage point on the zone in the first place.
Yeah, the other big thing, like Rapids can have an absolute field day on this map, because they can hit basically Street and everything just from in front where they're positioned right now. And meanwhile, the Blob can also come up, the Squiff can go from different angles, and as long as they keep taking those different angles, it's great. Right now, the Blob is fully distracted by this rail, and in all honesty, the person on the rail is winning, keeping the Blob from not pinning zone, because the Blob can actually keep a lot of output and people back from the zone. I can see why they're trying to keep this one back, but at this point in time, it's try to put yourself in another position to where they can come to you so you can actually win this, instead of looking in the same way for this long amount of time and not actually able to support your team for what's happening on objective right now. But it looks like the other 3 do have it covered. However, they are really close together. The Blob able finally to get one down, but it looks like the Try able to come back, potentially maybe getting the Blob. The Blob did end up going for a swim. So, trying to get away, but the Try is in a good spot in Street here, so we'll see if the Blob is going to come out and take a different side. But while this happened, the rest of Drifting Tide managed to come in and take the zone. So now Ink in the System does have to come back, try to get a cap back on it, as penalty is done for Drifting Tide.
Yeah, the rain goes out, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to follow up on that too much. It might... Oh, there we go. We've got a pick going down, and so with that going down, you'd have to think that Ink in the System is going to be able to cap at this point. That's Drifting Tide going to try. Yeah, the tries in on the flank. They're going to try and hold their position there as much as they can for JF to get back in. JF going to want to farm for armor really quickly, but at this point in time, they're not going to be able to get it with 2 players down. Fights taken, you know, before they have the numbers to take them. I'm almost thinking that maybe the blob being over here is more of a distraction for Drifting Tide, because NYMVP spent so long trying to push that flank and being held off by the blob, and the blob didn't need to be painting the zone. That's how they got their lead. They got an extra like 40 points during that situation. You almost, I don't know where else you're supposed to use the try on this map though. So I guess that's probably the best thing they can be doing.
Yeah, it is definitely, it's a 50-50 situation there, but during like that one point, it looks like Drifting Tide, I believe they had a couple specials that they moved in on as well. However, this blob needs to realize that they are going to be contested every time they don't focus street. So it's either they're going to have to just keep their focus on one side the whole time and just not play objective, or they're going to have to actually try to take the other side, because if you notice, the try is always on their side. It never hurts to get on their side. And do the same thing, because they are leaving their street open. They're leaving that right flank option open. The blob could just easily go around on the other side and actually do what the try is doing to them, but on the zone.
Just messy. The try has exactly what they want right now. They have everybody at short range. They're finally able to clean it up. A Drifting Tide threatening to KO here with 2 players down. I don't think Ink in the system gets anywhere near it, and that is game. That is that tri-flank coming in. As soon as it's able to get behind some cover there, as soon as it's not out in the open, it becomes so much more dangerous. It clogs up that entire area of the map, and able to use the cover well to their advantage to slosh up over the top of it, get a pick cleanly, and then stave off the other 2 members while their team helped from the opposite side. And that gives them the advantage they need in that fight, and they're able to hold before Ink in the system is ever able to get out onto the map again. So Drifting Tide able to win a decisive Game 4 against Ink in the system. That will advance them to round 3, which I believe is the winners semifinals. So they are guaranteed 5th place in today's alpha bracket.
And it looks like every other set's also done, because this set was the one running behind. So Drifting Tide's going on to play Mean Girls, who 3-0'd My Leg Paradise, and it looks like Inked Killers are going to be playing Myopsidus, and Myopsidus ended up 3-0ing Inksync.
Yeah, Inked Killers are the 3-1 over the Elegant Crusaders. Myopsidus 3-0 over Inksync. And then Mean Girls 3-0 over My Lag Paradise is your round 2.
Going back to the Zones Albacore thing, kind of what I was getting to towards the end of the match. Like, again, with the blob and try going head to head there. Again, the try again being the best flanker and street controller for there, so that they can pin, they can get that range off of the snipe, and of course we saw that that's what they were doing. As I was saying in the middle, if you can see that that's happening early, definitely try to look at the other side, because if you notice that the other 3 are going head to head on zone, it's an opportunity for you to take the other side, and that way with the try, you have to try to get it to come to you. With it being shorter range, and if it takes your own snipe and you have the other 2 with range, which you had, the Squiff and the Rapid and the Machine, like all of them could combat the try if they were coming back around from another side. So you want to make it so you're going to have the advantage rather than them. So you want to bait them to you. And what I was trying to say is that I think the blob, again, could have taken actually their street, and their teammates would have still had them covered from the right corner, and then the try would have to come back around. But as soon as it's called out off on like the snipe or maybe behind their own big wall, the range weapons will have the advantage there, and are able to pick that off, and then they can full on focus zone in a 4v3.
Yeah, it's really a battle for attention on that map. Like, sometimes, you know, you can get players to rotate into positions they really don't want to be in. Sometimes you can get them to over-focus an area, because if it's just the try in the street, you have a way out on that map. Like, you can go out to the right, or if the try gets all the way in and is, like, on your kind of snipe area, you can go out on the left. Like, you have ways to circumnavigate it, or even just get it caught between 2 players and pinch it. But the thing is, focusing on the try isn't necessarily what you always want to be doing, because they're not actually controlling the zone, they're just annoying you. So it's definitely a complicated interaction there that's very specific to that sort of map where you have that one corridor in between somebody and the zone.
But now we are moving on to our round 3 semifinals match, which is going to be the Inked Killers versus Myopsidus match. And hello, Myopsidus. Good to see ya. However,
definitely not. Go ahead.
Inked Killers also well known. It looks like that they are actually they're a mix of Inked and Squid Killers. So also a lot of recognizable names in both these two sets. I've commentated. I've seen both these teams play. This is going to be a great set right here.
Yeah, these are some teams that people who watch a lot of low inks will definitely recognize. These teams have been around and have been on the come up for a good long time, and they're getting really close to their shot at getting banned, which is exciting for everybody, especially the TOs, because there's nothing that a TO loves more than a nice DQ.
There we go. Okay, so yeah. Definitely teams most people will know and appreciate. Inked and Squid Killers, they definitely had their name up here in Alpha Bracket before Myopsidus as well. And we're still sticking on Splat Zones. We're going to Inkblot. There's always some... Inkblot has some crazy moments on it. No matter the mode, there's always some crazy moments and stories that come from Inkblot.
Yeah, this is a very scrappy map because there's so little space in between your spawn and the zone. It's just really quick to roll out onto, and you have a whole lot of control over most of that space in front of your spawn because you have so much high ground over it. It's kind of difficult for the enemy team to defend even the slightest bit further forward. So you usually do just have access to zone on every pushback in until they really get deep into your base on a spawn camp. So it just opens up the opportunity for there to be more fights during the course of a game, for the zone to be more contested. On top of that, it's a really big zone, so there can be a lot of inertia on it. It can take a while to actually shift it over. There can be a lot of back and forth, a lot of neutralizing it without capping it. Let's see what happens here. We've got a Nautilus, a 96, and a Vanilla Splash. So
both of the Inkjets running Drop Roller too. So there's going to be a lot of jumps in that are going to be rolling away.
And then we see on the side of MPU, maybe? MPU? We see on their side a very traditional comp consisting of largely like meta weapons here. And it's all going to be built, both of these comps really going to be built on these Inkjet users. Oh, those are huge bombs from Benny there, coming in huge with a junior double. And that is going to send their team pushing all the way up towards this wall. Inkjet users love this wall. That wall is their friend. That is what shields them from being seen before they get a jetpack and shoot you with a bazooka. Oh. But it doesn't help them out here. No Inkjet to be found. They just go down right away. And Inked Killers now moving up onto the enemy team's plat. We already have a Inkjet ready to go on this splash. We'll see when they decide to trigger that. Fairly close to specials on the K-Shot and the 96, but it looks like they're more focused on the lockout than they are on farming those specials right now. Inkjet is in the air, but there's another one countering it, and they're going to have to stay a little bit away from that just so they don't get dogfighted. 1-2 go down for MP. That's 3 go down. That's a massive play. They're going to have to just run back in without specials. They do not have time at this point.
Yeah, this is what counters there coming back in. It started there with the one Inkjet actually dropping too low to the one that was on top mid, able to fall to, or Batson was able to get that Inkjet. We see MPU main coming out on the side, Nautilus coming in 2 for 2, but they're not going to have enough paint to see this as they all go down on the side.
Yeah, they had an armor to go, which is more than I thought they were going to be able to pull off in that moment. I think, the combination of having this sprinkler and the 96 both painting for that armor, able to get it pretty fast. But yeah, in that situation where they all go down so decisively that close to the end, you just don't have time to put together a proper push. You really have to cross your fingers and hope you can out-mechanic them somehow if you're going to go in and be able to neutralize again. So Myopsidus looking like they've got their work cut out for them. Inked Killers coming in here and just winning a lot of really decisive fights to be able to take that match. Loving all the Inkjet love, by the way. Everyone prepping for Splatoon 3, where that special will be returning. Eagerly awaiting what kits are going to have that weapon, or yeah, that special weapon. But that's not stream of consciousness. That's not just what's going through my head at all times. Let's get back to the match here. So really, that was just a story of a couple of clutch fight wins coming out, I think, from Inked Killers. Like, Benny had the double that's completely stifled the push from Myopsidus in the first place. And then there was, I think, a triple coming off the K-shot at the end there. If not a triple, it was 2 and an assist. And so, I mean, it sounds, simple and easy to say, but Myopsidus has to figure out a way to stop all going down at once. They need to get into position. Mm-hmm.
Another thing is Floops as well. Floops has been in the corners, coming up and capitalizing on the jump-ins. The jump-ins and them coming off of down off of a wall in a corner. Floops has been pinching really well. That I noticed that entirely. Just coming around the corner, using the Inkjet to stall back, and they got quite a few doubles there, and even more in some scenario. But Floops is being a very on the burst aggro that you want your front line to do, and Myopsidus is really going to have to be aware of that coming into this game, and I think they know that from this point. So we'll see if they're able to catch the front line out here and able to focus their main target, because during the middle there, when the two Inkjets came out at the same time, the one Inkjet on Myopsidus side looks like they didn't really know where to focus. And that's where it came out at. We're seeing a Rapid coming out here on Rainmaker with the Nautilus, and Rapid can definitely have a lot of good pressure, especially down below. However, Floops coming in here, going in the way of the Rainmaker, because 3 went down immediately on Myopsidus, and what a burst to a Rainmaker game. Welcome to Rainmaker, everybody.
Oh, this is such a strong Inkjet. It pulls everybody up in the corner. But the Rainmaker goes down. Clutch pick there, I think, from Tort on the Nautilus there. That mid-range going to be really helpful for defending on this wide open area here. But Inkjets are a great way to break into that, and it looks like they've brought 2 of them again on the side of Inked Killers. They're really liking these double Inkjet comps, and they're definitely putting them to pretty good use. It's maybe not something that somebody in North America would tell you is meta, but sometimes, if you play something well, you throw that at them and, try and make them deal with it. Like, we are not playing the way that you expect, so how do you adapt? Because we're used to your comp, you're not used to ours. 2 do go down, though, on the side of Inked Killers. Myopsidus pushing back in with this armor. Great return pick from Floops to slow it down a little bit, but they get caught as well. So this is going to be a great opportunity for Myopsidus to push. They need to not go down to Batson, though. That slows things down a lot, and this fight here is kind of just a waste of time for the Nautilus at that point. Rainmaker's already down, and the push is already dead. Like, this push on the left-hand side that they took ended up not really mattering at all for the Rainmaker. You almost wanted to just run away from him in that case. Back wall, I don't think that they've been seen until now. That's a slick little stealth move.
Yeah, they definitely were seen, but they were in a spot where just the fall-off wasn't going to hit, so just that little patch of ink and wall able to save their life there. Looks like Myopsidus was trying to go back in, but what a prediction from the Seas! It is such a hard read indeed, and Pop coming out here from Myopsidus. They are trying to see if they can find a way forward, but they are not acknowledging these Inkjets. These Inkjets is just coming in, and as soon as they peek the corner, the Inkjets like target spotted, you're mine, and they go down, and just it's done. Whatever was gonna start is done.
Yeah, that's such an anime moment. Predictable. Pushes glasses up on forehead. Like, there's no way that they actually knew that that was happening unless somebody else called it out. And I don't think anyone was at an angle to see that that was the exact moment they were going.
However, look at this. We've got all of Myopsidus here. They managed to reclaim lead. That was the push they've been waiting for, where Ink Killers didn't actually have the answer to this. They didn't have the corner locked because they used the resources. Myopsidus able to take full advantage of it. MPU caught out on the shark here, though, and they're able to reclaim lead altogether. That all entire four as they just go in, reclaim turf control and everything. So Squid Killers now at the just under 2 minutes left here. They do have, we've seen that they definitely have the resources to push in. We see the Jack in the Box Inkjet coming out, but getting picked out. Missiles coming out, second Inkjet. Whoa, they got the Inkjet v Inkjet fight!
Yeah, the dogfight is a bigger risk than I think a lot of people give it credit for. Like, if you get close, that's not the hardest direct to hit, because the Inkjet is not moving an awful lot and it doesn't have any cover. So in a match with the double Inkjet, you know, you've got to be watching out for when they're going to be able to actually engage you in that way. You can't just disregard it. They will fire a shot in that direction if that's something that's going to work out for him. Huge Inkjet here from Flukes, getting 2. Meanwhile, it gets picked up and is being moved by Inked Killers. This is a really dangerous position. They've got double Inkjet up in the air above them. They get it to lead, only a lead of 20. So clutch defense there, but I don't see this push stopping just yet. Well, maybe it will now, because the Rapid Blaster not going to be able to do enough DPS to hold the Rainmaker where it is. And they're going to get caught out here if they stay any longer than they have. Great pressure to keep them alive from the K-Shot, but honestly probably stayed out longer than they needed to. Now there's going to be a huge stagger, not just from the picks, but from the fact that Batson had to jump and now Deceased has to jump. Fluke's going to be forced to back up quite a bit, and that's mid-control for Myopsidus here.
There is just under 20 seconds left to go. There's a 2-point difference, and we've seen both these teams just have at it. And right now, there's one Inkjet on the side of Myopsidus that's being used. Missiles have been used. There's only one ahead of the Rainmaker, though, and that is the Inkjet. And the Inkjet needs to get a key pick here. But the Rainmaker ends up pushing in with the Inkjet into 3 people, which is a bit of a time crunch there, where they could have kind of stalled it in the corner and waited for the teammates to come ahead to potentially clear it out to stop what else could be coming. So it was a little bit of a rush play by the Rainmaker carrier at the end there to just YOLO that lead, but it was not going to happen there. It was denied.
Yeah, so Inked Killers, you know, behind most of that match, but they're able to scrape out one push that gets them just barely into lead. So Myopsidus should probably be feeling a little bit better about how that game went than maybe the first one. Not so much of that situation where they're just getting flanked and going down in 2s and 3s. But definitely a situation where I think, you know, a little bit more maybe predictive play, a little bit more of an ability to lock down that corner so that they can't get around. You can just throw bombs at that corner for days. You know, you can just throw a suction bomb after a suction bomb after a suction bomb, and they can't even get around elbow. Them getting around elbow is a huge win for them that they should have to blow a bunch of specials for. One thing that I do want to... there was a Booyah bomb that got thrown by Myopsidus, and I think maybe that was to try and get their teammates around the corner. But I feel like they might have been able to hold that just a little bit longer to get just a little bit more distance. Like, even the paint from the Booyah bomb probably would have helped in getting them forward far enough to maybe get to that rail, maybe hop forward for lead. I don't know if maybe that could have been used a little bit better in hindsight. I'd have to go back and take another look at it, but that is not it, I don't believe. We do still have one more match at least, because Inked Killers only up 2-0, and this is a best of 5 going into or going from winners semis forward. It's actually a best of 5 all the way through the rest of the tournament at this point. Looks like Grands is even best of 5. So
Ooh.
Can we see a reverse 3-0?
Potentially. However, this is an interesting pick, counter pick coming out from Myopsidus here. Clan Blitz, Piranha Pit. Now, just kind of knowing these two teams and what they can play here, there are 2 players on the side of Ink Killers that I know that they can wield double Splatling on Clan Blitz Piranha Pit, and they know how to dominate with it. But with the other two, with the combo of both teams here, I don't know if they're going to wield that. If they did, that's kind of, in all honesty, that's almost to their strengths. So I'm not too sure what Myopsidus' trick to pull out here is.
They've been trying to counter, it looks like, the Inkjets with a lot of range. Last round, they pulled out a Nautilus, they pulled out a Rapid Blaster, and my thinking going into that was that they were going to try and use those weapons to pick the Inkjets out of the sky. Maybe it was just to try and control that left side plat a little bit better. But I wonder if they're going to continue with that, or if they're going to hunt for something a little bit different this time around. It definitely behooves them, I think, to have something to try and counter Inkjets. They've seen double Inkjet on both of those last 2 maps. You'd have to think that they're probably going to run at least a single one. Like, I'd think at least the Nautilus is going to stay in. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the Splasher too. Piranha Pit isn't necessarily a bad Inkjet map either. There are definitely a lot of open sight lines that can take advantage of from the high ground that is those ramps. You just have to do a little bit to try and keep the jump protected, but lots of sneaky little ways they can use that. They can also use it to spawn camp if they get massive control. So it's something you got to expect, and so like now that they've established that pattern of using all those Inkjets, are they going to try and counter it with something different in their comp? Tetras. First time we've seen those Tetras come out from Caleb here. So that's an interesting wrinkle in it, and I totally understand it, because like I was mentioning earlier, this is one of the few maps where there are sometimes safe splashdowns that you can use, where you can actually get a little bit of value out of it. So if there's a place to run a splashdown map, you know, it's running off of those ramps and jumping at people at a height that they can't shoot it down from.
You know, I also just realized that it's Clan Blitz. Is Myopsidus gonna pull a Myopsidus on me again? But however, it's pretty neutral right now, as there's been a lot of wing fights. We see the Nautilus getting caught off charge here, and very nice the pick there, but in return trade by the teammates, we see Bubbles coming out by MPU main. Unfortunately, they're not going to too much, but paint a little bit, but they're going to get painted back over relatively quickly. As we see, again, still neutral play, just half and half. The game's begun, but it hasn't at the same time, you know?
Yeah, that was a really good stall from their K-shot there, Zuri. When they got that pick, the entire team doubled back and didn't even manage to take mid control off it. Now Ink Killers all the way up in mid with the double Inkjet out, just the squadron flying out in formation, and Zuri going to be able to score immediately off of that very fast special push. And that's something that Myopsidus needs to find an answer for. The Inkjets are going to come out. They're going to come out from opposite angles. What do you do about it? Do you focus one of them down? Do you just take cover and wait? Like, you need to not be getting picked by those every time they go up, or you are just going to surrender map control every time very quickly. It wasn't even a huge push, but what show has Myopsidus made of being able to take mid so far? They've just been stalled and denied it so far. In comes the splashdown. They're going to try and do something here on bump, but I don't know if they have the paint for it. The bubbles are going to keep the other team off, though. That was well-timed bubbles to protect their teammates there. Even so, all that happens is the Tetris go down after all of those specials are used. It's a 2-for-2 trade. So many more resources used by Myopsidus there. You have to think this is a win for Ink Killers.
Yeah, Myopsidus, you could see that they had an idea with the specials, but they really didn't get much out of it, because Ink Killers saw it coming. They worked around it. Like, we saw Flukes up there waiting for the bubbles. They knew one bubble came out, it popped, they were protected, they immediately shredded the other one, they went back in, and they all pinched on an Inkjet, and in the same time, the Tetras went down, so just able to shut down that push entirely, and it's like the specials really didn't do anything to him in that moment.
Yeah, so... Cat.
Anyway.
Jumped on my foot and bit me, so that's nice. Anyway.
But again, Tetris and the Knot go down. Batson able to kind of lead the way. It's been kind of back and forth trades here. Missiles coming out. Myopsidus has that clam in the corner. Tort opting to use an Inkjet. They are very weak though, so any slight shots and they would go down, but they're playing at safe range here to stay alive. Looks like the squeezer went down. There are 3 power clams on the side of Inked Killers. And they are looking to try to come in. And they're all seen, but look at this pressure being added. 2 go down, 2 for 2. And it looks like it's just the Tetris left alive.
If there's a weapon that can do it, it's these Tetris, but not with missiles on them. They do go down to that, and that's 2 power clams going in. That's probably about all Inked Killers can expect, and in fact, going deeper for any more is going to stagger them. So this is a little bit of room to breathe now for the Inked Killers. Armor comes out. They might be trying to fight again. Myopsidus get more off of this. Big fight win there from Benny. 2 down. Do they have the clams to make something and get in there right now? They really need to score right now, otherwise the other team is going to be able to get in and defend before any follow-up comes in. And that's kind of what's happening. They get caught outside of the bubble. Inked Killers is just going to stop this at 1 power clam and nothing more.
Yeah, Jer was able to come in from behind and just help defend that push that was trying to happen. They had enough for a power, and then they had some afterwards, but it looks like that they weren't able to even get near it to score those other 8 clams that were at the ready. It looks like Floops went in with an Inkjet, trying to push people back. The drop roller coming in handy there for the Nautilus. Able to back out of there, but the junior here going in some more aggro mode. It looks like the juniors notice like they need to be up into play here. They're going to go up. Going around this corner right into Floops. Is this jump's going to get canceled? Floops getting the 3. And helping out with the 4th. And the push that started from Myopsidus ends relatively quickly with Floops saying hello, goodbye.
Yeah, Myopsidus never really fully clearing out the enemy basket. They'd go in, they'd get a clam in, but that's not really what you need. You need full control over that area, because otherwise you just don't have enough time to put the clams in, to follow up on that score where you've opened things up. So, well played from Inked Killers. You know, they're making a great argument for them being the 1 seed of this tournament here. They advance with a 3-1, I believe, 3-0?
3-0.
I'm 3-0, right, over Myopsis. I was like, wait, that was the last match. They advance with a 3-0 over Myopsidus, and it remains to be seen whether anyone is going to stop them. But I believe, if I am correct, that is all that we, as our commentary duo, are going to be seeing here. I think at this point we are going to be handing things off to some people that you should know and love. Popgun and Brush. They're going to be taking over for us in Alpha Bracket Winners Round 4 and all the way through to the end of the tournament to see who ends up getting banned for the last time in Splatoon 2.
Going for that gold trophy, but yeah, it's been the end for this. The OG Griller run has been done on the first block of commentary here. But so with sign-offs, Jem, where can people find you? Because I know you have a few places that you can definitely put out there. Just a few.
So I am Jem. I run a channel called Squid School on YouTube, on TikTok, do a bunch of shorts content and a bunch of videos teaching people how to get into competitive play, and the basics of the game at a competitive level. We'll also be ramping that up quite a bit for Splatoon 3. So Squid School in any of those places, Squid_School on Twitch, and we have a Twitter by that name as well. I believe it is Squid School SPL. So that's where we can find me. And what about you, Devi?
With me, you can find me on Twitch at Devi_Doovie. I am your all-loving Hydra mom, as people call me. And then on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Devi Doovie. I've got a nice little series called Hydra Crimes that we've been doing on Mondays, where
We assemble fellow Hydra players and commit Quad Hydra and League. It's such a grand old time. But yes, I show all of the Hydra love for both variants, and I can say I'm definitely looking forward to try out the Splatoon 3 variant with the Booyah Bomb coming up soon, so...
That's scandalous. Committing Quad Hydra.
Yep, committing Quad Hydra. It is a crime at this point.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Stay tuned for Popgun and Brush on the mic. And this is Jem and Devi signing off.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to Low Inc. August 2022. I am Pop Gun, joined to the mic by Brush, and we got a doozy of a set for you here as we have slipped into winter finals of Alpha Bracket. We got Inked Killers, the team I predicted was going to win this whole tournament, going up against the Mean Girls, a team that has only lost one game so far today. In fact, the record between these two teams very similar, both coming into this winner's final set 9-1 on the day and 5-1 yesterday. So everybody's taken a loss at some point, but we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, Brush.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm making it up, but I looked at the day one Swiss, and it felt like there were more 5-1s than what I've seen in a long time. We had one 6-0 in the entire tournament, and a whole lot of 5-1s. So that's, you know, we talk about how day one stats don't matter going into day two, and here's a prime example. Everyone felt really even coming into today. But even then, you know, I'm looking at the bracket. There's so many 2-0 games so far, and that gives both these teams 9-1 stats.
I actually lied. Mean Girls went 4-2 yesterday. In fact, they were the number 8 team until they got bumped up to the number 7. So they just barely even qualified for Alpha Bracket. We've only had 2 teams all time win Low Inc. after going 4-2 on the Swiss stage. It was Fluency back in December of 2020, and last month where Splat-A-Lot won. Or not last month, back in May. So it's only been done twice. Mean Girls would like to be the 3rd team ever to do that, but Inked Killers has been, they've been kind of anointed the champion before we even got started here, and they've been playing like a champion all weekend long. It's just a matter of can they close out this tournament when it comes down to crunch time, which they weren't able to do the last time they played in this setting where they took 2nd place here.
Yeah, I'm getting
flashbacks.
Getting flashbacks like access denied, ending like top 5 every month to month. So Inked Killers obviously not wanting to end up with that streak. And to try to end that, they're going to come out here with a Nautilus and a 96 gal. I think a comp they are very familiar with, using that range and that chip damage again with that high DPS Splash-O-Matic from Fleeps.
Only 2 ink jets coming out from the side of Ink Killers. Boring. I like that triple ink jet action they were showing on Rainmaker Humpback, but ink jet works out really well here, especially when you can get up on the fan wall in kind of some cheeky spots. And no ink jets coming out from the side of Mean Girls as they do fire a Stingray that doesn't really accomplish anything. They do have control of zone early, however, as Deceased able to get along this left side, get a nice splat, and pops an ink jet to boot.
Yeah, I mean, that early Stingray not able to find a pick, and Ink Killers waited. They said, let's give a second. They got their specials ready, and they popped 3 of them there, and that allowed them to get a quick cap and a nice push up here. And Floop's taking advantage of that space, getting a nice pick on that flat, now trying to back around, but getting a little bit blocked there by that fan.
Oh, one more player. They weren't really able to locate Nightmare. Doesn't really accomplish much other than a splash for splash trade, but still, now the question becomes, can the Ink Killers get control of the enemy plat? That's really the key feature to this map, is creating that lockout. Batson doing a good job controlling the fan, at least, as we do at least see some patience coming out from Mean Girls. 3 specials on the way, Brush.
Yeah, and that's going to be the Inkjet, or the Stingray, sorry, pop coming into missiles from Ink Killers. No opportunity just yet, because no picks have been found. Deceased and a tight 1v1 going down, though. That leaves a 4v3 in favor of Mean Girls. They're able to find a cap with 17 ticks left for Ink Killers. They now need to get so close to that lockout to keep going, and Aleph is going to try to find an opening pick, but forced to jump out, and Ink Killers survives that push in, only with 60-ish penalty points there, and looking for a KO still.
I like that counter push coming out from the Mean Girls. Able to come in, use their specials to get the bubbles in the zone. That's really all they needed. The Stingray's not going to accomplish a whole lot. It's those bubbles that's going to flip it back, but they need to get some more picks other than just a few from that squeezer if they want to be able to actually hold on to the zone. But a good enough to at least extend the game, and that's all you need to do at this point.
Stingray and Suction Bomb Launcher online. That forced Ink Killer out of the zone, and finally a cap for Mean Girls, and maybe looking to set up a push here. Aleph popping those bubbles, looking for an opportunity, but not quite going to find one. And now they're going into 3 specials by Ink Killers. And look at those pops. Ink Jets, Ink Armor, all online here. Zur on the right side, looking for an opportunity. Going to find a pick. That leaves them in a 4v2 situation with missiles online. Ink Jet finding a nice pick, forcing the last one to jump. Just Ink Killers dominating, pushing Mean Girls out of that zone, backing up, getting their specials, and moving back in.
Yeah, and again, Mean Girls is able to get control of zone whenever they want, but they're not really doing a good job of finding ways to win 1v1s. They're getting trades at best, or just using their specials to get picks. They need to find ways to group up and get some splats on their own, because I feel like they're going to find a way to cap zone again. Armor coming out perfect time to counter this Stingray, and Bubbles are online as well as Bomb Rush, which should be enough to stall the zone, maybe? Here comes the Bubbles on the back end after the Bomb Rush got shut down. But the Bubbles float away before they can get popped. Still able to cap the zone, but again, look who still has the man advantage. It's the Ink Killers.
And look at Batson doing a great job backing up there. They were on that left side by the fan, not being afraid of those bubbles, finding opportunities to move forward or backwards to avoid them there, and that's going to allow them to savor the life, stay online, and now push back into the zone at 13.
You know, I'm not sure what these Stingrays have been accomplishing so far. It kind of serves as just a distraction so the rest of the team can pull off something, but it would be nice if those Stingrays could start getting some splats, and there's a good opportunity to do that right here. Batson forced to jump out. That counts as a splat in my book from Andrew, so a nice play, finally capitalizing with that Stingray. But if you're going to use that C-Jet, we'd like to see another one coming at some point as well, just to keep applying the pressure while you're trying to create this lockout.
Maybe a pick in your book, but look at that Armor and Inkjet combo already online because they didn't go down, because they were able to jump out. The special comes out that much earlier, and able to find a pick there on the zap, and another one on the squeezer there, sorry. Ink Killers is going to be able to walk into the zone, having a nice 4v1 against the C-Jet.
Nice, solid push there by the Mean Girls. They don't get lead, but they do enough damage to where they can get within striking distance. In just perfect time, 35 seconds left to go here. C-Jet gets taken down as Flops is up here, controlling the plat area and getting a nice trade. That's going to work out into the favor of the Ink Killers, and time is going to start running out. Penalty points are gone. Your bubbles are gone. There's seemingly no way. Somebody's able to get back into the control zone, though. Not enough. Ink Killers continues their dominance. They take game 1.
You know, you said something mid-match there, which was that Mean Girls weren't struggling to find cap. They were getting it whenever they wanted it, but they couldn't hold on. And some of that is their pick power. They weren't able to find the splats when they wanted them. I mean, look at Patson there with the 12 splats. Some of those obviously armor assists. But beyond that, not able to have the specials ready in time. That Inked Killers was able to get their specials so quickly once they backed up out of zone, not going down when they didn't need to, that they could pop an Inkjet, one of the two. I mean, they had one all the time, pop the armor, pop the missiles, and it wasn't even a question of if they could get zone, it was how soon.
Yeah, and the real X factor was the Stingray from Mean Girls, but those 8 armors helps counter it against it. The 9 Tuna missiles fired by the K-Shot, that helps counter against it as well. So Inked Killer's comp was kind of roll of the dice, was able to naturally counter what Mean Girls was trying to pull there from a little bit of a different point of view. So that's just the second loss Mean Girls has taken all day. But again, it was going to happen at some point. The counterpick coming here, Clam Blitz at Mako Mart. Always enjoy seeing some Clam Blitz action in low ink.
I always enjoy
and when we
seeing some
see this is, if I recall, Inked Killers, they seem to be doing pretty well here the last time they played at Mako Mart. Splat Zones and Clam Blitz.
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried about this counter pick for Mean Girls just because the inkjet pressure from Ink Killers. I mean, this map is so small, there's nowhere to run. Either you're jumping all the way out and you're camping in your spawn bubble, or you're going down to an inkjet if the inkjet can find you. So I'm curious how many we're gonna see out from Ink Killers here. I mean, that said though, Mean Girls, if they can take some initiative early and start moving, maybe they won't have to deal with that.
Yeah, it just kind of comes down to special usage, as we're used to seeing here with Splatoon 2, like it or not. But yeah, so far, Ink Killer's in a pretty good situation. You want to come into this one 1-0. You like it when the other team counterpicks a map that you probably would like to see coming your way. Anyways, but yeah, you're going to probably see that early aggression. I don't think you're going to see that same kind of C-Jet coming out from Andu. We've seen them use Quad Shooter before, earlier in the tournament when they were playing very cool team name. A very strong team in their own right. They had a tough opponent at round 1 and able to 2-0 them. But I think we're going to see more of that traditional comp that we've seen them use here, so that they can match the aggression that they know is going to be coming their way.
And Mako Mart is a small map. I said it once, and those sloshers can really shine here. But I mean, traditional shooters are not going to see any come out here. And nearly an identical comp for Mean Girls, opting for that 52 gal. Kind of a little bit more traditional than what we saw last time with the C-Jet, but I mean, nearly duplicate from Inked Killers running that Neo Splash for the bomb rush instead of a second Inkjet.
This is a bread and butter comp from both teams. This is how you win Splatoon 2. And as much as people might not like to see it, you know what? You can't argue with winning. And especially with Squid Killers coming out and being very aggressive here, able to get all these splats without losing a single player in the first 40 seconds, popping the basket, and they got a lot of clams to do some damage here. Still no splats, but finally 2, 3 come right at the perfect time. Squid Killers was set up to do some damaging pushes there. They get a wipe and able to force the Cease to jump back as well. Mid control going into Mean Girls' favor.
The Cease back in spawn, but that inkjet ready, going down now. I was going to say keep an eye on them, but an eye no longer as Mean Girls is able to find them. A 4v3 situation in their favor now, finding a nice trade there. It's going to leave them in a 3v2. The ball going in finally, and looking for some clam follow-up, but nah, going down there is the K-Shot, and it's just Nami on the right side going down as well. 80 to 80, only single ball pushes so far. Yeah,
bad pushes from both teams. But it's fine because we're going to see a lot more pushes come out. And that's kind of the name of this map here. Because you know you're going to be able to get a push pretty much at any time. It's so easy to score, it's hard to get follow-up points. So if you have an opportunity to at least pop the basket, you might as well take it because you don't know what's going to happen. But you know you're going to get more opportunities as Squid Killers is able to get control of zone here. They got a lot of clams themselves. Can they find a way to break through the Mean Girls defense? Floop's trying to work around that left side.
Bomb rush and missiles there, not quite able to find anything, and Aleph is going to pop these bubbles in hopes to get some control back in mid, but to Cease staying alive with that inkjet is a constant fear you have to deal with your Mean Girls. That inkjet popping up at any point can end a push dead in its tracks. You gotta find Cease and call him out.
And okay, I was about to say, they got armored pop, so there goes the inkjet, but the Jets, gonna be fighting against Armor themselves, and Nightmare's able to, oh, the drop roller! The drop roller survives! Oh, you gotta check the enemy build right there. Slippery Deceased stays alive, forced to jump back anyways. But Nightmare able to hold that position, ultimately gets taken down. So a whole lot of action going on, but still the scoreboard has not been touched much. Finally, the basket gets popped yet again. Mean Girls get the lead. The question is, can they add to it, able to get one more power clam in? And if they all get a pick here, which they won't, they could add to it. But still 2 minutes left to go, still anyone's game.
Nightmare finding a nice pick on the right side. That's going to keep this a little bit more even, but a solo missile out against them. Now they're forced to back all the way up. They're going to go down to Bats in there as they hunt him out on the left side. 2 balls are ready to go in. That was the push we just saw from Mean Girls. So two balls and a clam here will get them a lead. Sure, opting to drop that ball to find a little more space and play a little more aggressive. But Batson going down on the other side, and they seem so stalled out, especially with this missile spam coming out from Mean Girls.
And you know what? You've talked about the inkjet from Deceased being an issue, and so is Nightmare just flanking right around, and there's no more inkjet to be set up. So yeah, they're having difficulties getting some pushes going. They've just been having missiles on the side of Squid Killers that they can work with. Andrew being the last player left alive, trying to work along with Floops over here. Floops able to get the splat. And look at all these clams they got going here. This is a great situation for Ink Killers.
There's the first ball in. A couple clams coming in from Jure. They've got another ball ready, and that'll get them the lead. And there it goes. 38-51 with only a minute left in this game. And Floops is not done hunting one out of the plat, forcing them to jump out. That's the aggression I was talking about. But they need a couple more clams to come in, and it's not going to happen, leaving just Floops alive in that top left. And they're going to Shark there, looking for another pick on the respawn. And finally now opting to back up a little bit and play a little more Shark.
I like Floop staying there. And are they going to find a way to get at least a trade out of it? They are. That's great. You got to force the opponent to pay attention to you when they want to push up. It's just and able to get a trade to draw the attention of 2 players. That's a great play by Floops. And not a massive hole that Mean Girls has to overcome here. But again, they're not winning these 1v1s, and they're not getting man advantage ever. And they're still in this situation where everything's just neutral, and that's going to keep working out for the Ink Killers. Except for now, there goes the white.
20 seconds left, and they need to put a clam together quickly here. Nightmare getting a little bit unlucky with their clams despawning. Now opting to go into their Booyah Bomb, but they able to clams holder. It looks like a clams were picked up behind them, but now going 2 down. Mean Girls able to open the basket here, but they're struggling to find an opportunity to put in those clams. Andrew now the last one trying to stay. Looking for it, and they're not going to find it. Nightmare, Nami off of this respawn, looking for any chance. So close, and not going to find it. That's the basket closed, and your overtime over Mean Girls, going end to end off of that respawn, looking for an opportunity.
Just 1 clam shy, but that would have been a long time to stay alive in those bubbles. But you can really see that was the play they had in mind. I don't need to pop basket. I just need to put down the bubbles for somebody to come in and get the push going there. But again, we talked about Deceased's inkjet being a threatening presence. They only popped 1 inkjet, and they didn't accomplish anything with it. So that's the difference, is that Squid Killers is just winning the straight-up gunfights right now without any special gimmicks to kind of take advantage of the like give them map control or anything like that. They're just winning the 1v1 fights, and that's giving them more opportunities to create pushes. You look at the scoreboard, yeah, it's close, back and forth between both teams, it's right there. But Inked Killers has been the better team over the course of the entire 5 minutes. It's been pretty obvious so far.
Yeah, I mean, threatening presence, though, is I think, different than being effective with it. And if Mean Girls is sitting in their VC saying the same things we are about that inkjet, that having it ready, even if you're not able to execute in a match like that, is enough to slow down your opponent, to slow down Mean Girls, and it's enough to keep them from holding forward into basket. So even if it's not being the most effective, it exists and it's a threat and it's scary. But I mean, it's so difficult when you're in that situation, when you're so close to a win both times. I mean, the first time, I think a little more dominant presence from Ink Killer is obviously getting that knockout in the end. But when you feel like you're capping the zone and you can't quite hold on, and you feel like you're getting the pushes moving, but you can't get that last clam, I mean, that kills the mental. That you talk about seed of doubt all the time, Popman. That's the seed of doubt. Seed
of doubt should be planted at this point when you're down 2-0. the emergency game to try to avoid the sweep and get back into the set is Splat Zones at New Albacore Hotel. And I gotta say, we've seen this map be used a lot recently, be counterpicked a lot recently, and it seems like the team that counterpicks it almost always loses because they really overthink it. They think, oh, well, we gotta use everybody for range, and but you forget somebody has to go get splats. Obviously, I think they're picking it just so they can use that that C-Jet yet again, doubling down with Stingray on Splat Zones, trying to make it work. But both comps are coming out with a decent amount of range and killing power, so we're not going to see any awkward overthinking from either team.
Floops with an early pick now, looking to clean up Nightmare there with the 52 gal. They are not going to find it. Nightmare now going back into zone. Not on the 52 gal, sorry, now on a Neo Splash-O-Matic mirroring their opponent there. And that extra paint output might be enough with their bomb rush ready now, a lockout in Mean Girls' favor. I wanted to point out that early cap from Ink Killers can do so much. I mean, there is so much paint mid that zone controls, but not able to use it and pushing forward in front of it isn't going to help you out there. I know a dogfight in the zone here.
Yeah, they didn't seem interested, Mean Girls, in pushing forward at all, they were just more interested in just kind of sharking instead of just trying to push up. And ultimately, they're able to get control of lead there as Deceased helps clean up the last little squeezer player who's going to be retreating. But yeah, I would like to see you start painting up. It's not a secret where people are going to be, especially with missiles right now. Start putting some paint and make it more difficult for them to get the zone.
Ink Killers now taking down that counter into lead on a map that they did not pick. Deceased fighting a nice pick on the backside there. Nightmare's flank no longer. Now an Inkjet is online to try to push back your opponent, not let him into zone, not even breathe. And there's an assist and a pick there from Deceased. Beautiful 3 down delay. Now just the ends that player Nami called out on the front lines as Floops gets to work. No one is getting through with 25 ticks remaining.
And they don't really have the specials they need to work with. They just got to win these 1v1s. Nightmare able to do that. And now you got to play focus on Nightmare. Somebody from Mean Girls got to swipe around that right side. The Stingray, even if it gets a splat, it's not going to do enough to paint the zone. 3-game sweep. We've been looking for somebody to step up among the pack and declare themselves to be the favorite. Ink Killers is starting to look like a champion right now as they're moving on to Grands.
Yeah, I mean, not a huge win streak. Now that's their 4th win in a row, going 3-1 in their, that's their 6th win in a row, going 3-1 in their set against the Elegant Crusaders. But that's how you start moving. I mean, you get a couple picks, you get a 3-0 victory. Here's another one. They're gonna have to sit pretty waiting for grand finals now, but that's how you start that win lead, and that's how you start getting that momentum moving.
In the Mean Girls, the tournament's not done for them yet. This pickup team at least guaranteed to make 3rd place. But if they were to run up against Ink Killers again, obviously some adjustments got to be made. Just weren't able to win the fights when they needed to the entire set. And Ink Killers now 3-6-9, 11-1 on the day, starting to look like a solid champion before the tournament's even done yet. But still, we are going to dip down into loser's bracket here, and this is always the traditional moment where we take a look at what is going on there, and we usually see one team that's making a run and just mopping up everybody who keeps falling down to the loser's bracket because they're a little upset they're in loser's bracket, versus another team that's just like, hey, we keep winning. This feels great. This is awesome. The team doing that right now is Blue Moon, who lost to Ink Killers at the beginning of the day 2-0 and has gone on to win 6 of the last 7 games, knocking off Dumplings, not your, but my Lag Paradise, and everybody's favorite heading into this one. Ink in the System fell 2-0 to Blue Moon, who is currently battling Myopsidus, and we're also waiting on Drifting Tide and the Elegance Crusaders. We're going to be bringing you the matchup between the winner of those 2 sets coming shortly.
A terrifying fight, Blue Moon and Myopsidus. I'm waiting eagerly to see what the result is going to be there. Myopsidus, I think, a continuous favorite going into these low ends lately. And Blue Moon, I mean, a team that Popgun, I feel like you called months ago now as being your next up-and-comer. Looking like they're having a strong chance. I mean, a long day all the way through loser's bracket, but one more win and grand finals is within reach.
Yeah, I'm watching Leaf stream right now of the Blue Moon Myopsidus set. And yeah, they've just been on a roll so far all day long. Splat Zone's Hotel, what is that, game 1 that they're on in the losers round 4? I believe so. So they're just getting started in that set, and I don't know where Drifting Tide and Elegance Crusaders is. But, you know, all these teams that we got alive so far, Myopsidus, you know, watching them in the last set against Ink Killers leading up to this one, just looking at their roster, they got Caleb, who they got from Boston Squid Party. They got Benny, who they got from the Delicious Nuggets before the Delicious Nuggets won the tournament the previous month. So they're perfectly legal. Don't go into Twitter and tell us we're not doing a good job of verifying people. We are. So Myopsidus' little bit of roster changeover has gotten this consistent result. Yeah, they got 5th place last month. What, they're guaranteed to make 5th place, like tied for 5th place this month as well, right? Back-to-back 5th place results, possibly even better. So Myopsidus has really become the team we thought they were going to be when we saw them make that miracle play against ITAP in November of last year. So they seem to have turned the corner and become that consistent team now. Blue Moon, obviously, one of those teams we told was going to be kicked out of this tournament at the end of this one, regardless of their results, just mainly because of what they did in that super jump, getting so many quality wins back to back. And you can see what they're doing today. Obviously, they deserve that. But Drifting Tide, did Drifting Tide win against the Elegance Crusaders?
No, that's what we're going into right now. That's what I think we're about to watch.
Oh, we're going to stream that one. Oh,
yeah,
okay,
cool. Versus Elegance Crusaders, losers round 12. If you're looking at the bracket there. So yeah, okay. Popcom, what do you got on Drifting Tide?
Okay, yeah, this is the first time we've ever streamed losers round 4. We must be really up ahead. That's awesome. So Drifting Tide, this is the team who, if you've played League at any point in the past 4 or 5 years, I guarantee you've played these guys at some point. I remember playing these guys. I don't think they went by DT like Drifting Tide back then, but they were all playing together, especially X-Not and Oli Wan. I remember that specifically because I always thought it was Obi-Wan. So those players have been playing forever. They played in Ludi. I think we put them in Div 8 because they had no tournament experience then, and they did decently well in that. But they haven't played in any tournament period other than just Ludi. And obviously their first tournament run. These are people not used. You would think if you've done nothing but League and you're not used to how the competitive game works, that you would still not be, you'd be like a gamma level, kind of a beta level maybe. Certainly not top 5 of low ink. Now they're going to be going up against the Elegance Crusaders. This is the team TNT was on. I saw TNT was upset that I didn't mention them in my pre-show. But if you want to make a name for yourself, this is a great way to do it. TNT, Zenith, Hermit. I believe that is Hermit from the recently disbanded J. Croutons, if I'm not mistaken. And also, oh gosh, how do you say that? Mertz?
I'll say Mertz.
Mertz. So, all right, fair enough. So Elegant Crusaders, what did they come in here as? The number 9 seed. So they should probably be about 5-1 as well coming into this. They got knocked out by the Ink Killers. Actually, they're the only team to take a game off the Ink Killers all day.
Yeah, I'm getting Blazing Storm energy from Drifting Tide. I'm not sure what it is about them, but maybe not the favorite to win it, but coming out strong here, double slosher on Zone's Albacore. That when you get that lockout moving and you can push up, those sloshers can be devastating, but you have to get to zone, and it's going to be Elegant Crusaders who get the first cap here as Nymph fights along this right side.
Yeah, good. Your guess is as good as mine with that one, the tri-slosher here. Okay, so this is a comp you would think wouldn't work on Albacore Hotel, but we saw them play, I forgot who they played it on stream against, but the team they played against on stream used like some really, a comp that had like no slayers other than a K machine. So it was it was a lot easier for Drifting Tide to take advantage of that. But so far they're able to get the lead, and all they really have to deal with range-wise is just the squeezer and the chip damage of the Rapid Blaster.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if they're finding the full quads, but as long as you can find the right picks at the right times and finding Zenith on that end zap. It's the second time that they have gone down before the rest of their team. That is huge if you're Drifting Tide. No armor. So difficult to put in the zone here. The baller can only do so much. And there's the neutral looking for the zone cap now in a 3v2 situation. Elegant Crusaders able to persevere through Zenith going down. But now in a 4v2 situation as respawns come out, Drifting Tide with the armor online, looking to take back control and not make it a lockout.
You know, you rarely see Baller being used anymore, especially after it got nerfed to where like the size of the weapon dictates the speed of that thing. But when you're not used to seeing a special like that so often, when it finally gets used, it kind of catches you off guard. Like, oh yeah, I forgot. This thing is just invulnerable and can explode on me at any moment. I got to run from that. And the Baller is able to kind of create space to allow the rest of Elegance Crusaders to come in and cap the zone as another Baller is ready to go.
Yeah, but Drifting Time, a team maybe used to playing some more obscure comps in the league scene, I think they are more
fair. That's fair.
Baller than anyone else in this tournament. So playing those off-kilter weapons maybe not going to be the solution there. And we say JF with those bombs. There's the Baller. That's exactly what we got to do. The Baller, if the Baller's popped, it can't do much. But now just Nympho alive. And they're going to go down a full wipe in favor of Elegant Crusaders as their timer ticks down into lead territory.
Yeah, and now here's the question is, what are you going to do? You don't have the range. If the squeezer can get set up, as well as this kind of cake out here kind of boxing you out, it's difficult to even get to zone. But once you get there, how are you going to find a way to cap it? This is just a desperation splash down. TNT's going to eliminate that, and the Tri-Slosher being the last player left alive. Not much you can do there. Game one should be finished off and gone into the favor of the Elegant Crusaders. And I just don't think that's a map Drifting Tide is designed to win.
No, I mean, I said it early, if you can get the lockout, the Sloshers have a ton of ledges to play with. But what the Elegant Crusaders were able to do is say, we don't care about those ledges, we're just going to push through mid, just get some space, and then it won't matter. So a wonderful execution by Elegant Crusaders, proving how to identify their weaknesses and find another solution around it. And that's going to give them a nice clean victory there on a nearly 100-0 win.
The Elegant Crusaders. Hey, you wanted our attention. You're getting it now. And actually, every single match the Elegant Crusaders play for the rest of this tournament is going to be on stream. Because we're at that point where we're just going to stick in one lobby and follow it all the way through. This is best of 3 still, not best of 5. It'll be best of 5 again later in losers bracket. We're just in round 4, so we got a few more to go through here. So it's crunch time here for Drifting Tide. It's tournament points. And again, so we never streamed this round, but the thing about this round, and Brush, you know this because I pointed this out before, when you lose in winter semifinals and you go down into this slot, you are automatically playing somebody who is on at least a 2-game win streak. And we traditionally, I think it's just a 40% win rate for teams that are in this particular round that come in from the losing side. And we're seeing that again right now. Blue Moon is currently one up over Myopsidus, and Elegant Crusaders currently one up over Drifting Tide. So history might repeat itself here as the team that's just building up momentum is just a little bit too much to overcome. But if you got a lot of sloshers on your team, you want to go to Sturgeon's Shipyard. So Drifting Tide making the smart choice going here.
Losers round 4, a matchup we don't normally see on stream, as you pointed out, Popgun, is a battle of mentality. Because you get a team that wants to beat their chest and say, look, we've made it this far in winners bracket, only going down now to possibly the team that won winners finals. We don't have this long slog of losers bracket to go through, only maybe 3 more games. Like, I feel confident, whereas again, you're coming up against a team like Blue Moon, or a team like Drifting Tide in this case, or Elegant Crusaders, sorry, that's been here a while and has been constantly pumping out wins 2-0 after 2-0. Elegant Crusaders also in a very strong mental game. So round 4 feels so important.
You got sloshers? Yeah, we got sloshers too. A slosher mirror comp with the only key difference being the K-Shot versus the Nautilus coming out here. So, hey, it's not quad shooter, so that's what you guys want to see, right?
actually single shooter for Elegant Crusaders. And that NZAP with that armor is going to be so vital for them. They can pop the armor and inkjet. That's the advantage they have over missiles. Missiles not able to do much if they're able to just swing away, and all these weapons are super high mobility. A nice pick down, Holy one. Sorry. But a 2v2 situation against that junior with armor ready.
And now, you're Zenith. You got the play. You have the most range in this lobby right now. So you kind of take over this pseudo anchor role that you can do with Analyst as opposed to the hyper aggressive one. But you can just kind of stay back here, let people come into you and just start blasting away at them, which it looks like Zenith has been doing. Able to pop this inkjet right now, able to get a pick on Knot, and JF forced to retreat as well. So that Nautilus being the key difference between all the players in this lobby here, able to use their differences to their advantage right now, and is giving Elegance Crusaders a huge lead early.
Yeah, key difference indeed with 40 ticks remaining. That inkjet weapon doing a great job holding space, but look at Marks here. I love this camera from the screen producer. Look at how they're able to slosh above, and as soon as they see someone with that slash, they're looking for another opportunity. Now they may be in Crusaders territory, but in a 4v3 situation, it's not going to matter. 17 ticks remain, the zone only neutrals, while Elegant Crusaders still have a player advantage.
It's starting to look like Drifting Tide's going to get sent out. Next, not being the last player left alive, trying to avoid the inkjet. Does take care of the inkjet, but doesn't have enough painting capability to overcome the momentum that the Elegant Crusaders have. Still a good finish for Drifting Tide. They're going to finish tied for 5th place. That is a heck of a finish for your first ever tournament run. But the experience just a little too much to overcome their Elegant Crusaders. Able to get control of zone early and don't look back as they're moving on to the next round.
Some dominant gameplay from Elegant Crusaders, a team that has been in the losers bracket since round 2. I mean, they were able to take one win early over Midnight Chaos, but, Elegant Crusaders a win over Dumplings round 1. But going down to Inked Killers, our team waiting in winners grands. So, they're ready to come out swinging for these grand finals. They got one more round, and followed by losers finals, and then they're in grands. They got to get through Mean Girls. But first, the winner of Myopsidus versus Blue Moon.
And we already got a result for that. Ooh. It is Blue Moon. So Myopsidus and Drifting Tide fall yet again to the winner's semifinal losing curse. And we got a team with 4 straight wins under their belt. Blue Moon taking on the team you just saw win, Elegant Crusaders. And actually, the one thing these two teams have in common, the only teams to beat them so far today is Inked Killers. Yeah. Inked Killers 2-0'd Blue Moon. They 3-1'd Elegant Crusaders. So the only teams left are the only 3 teams, or 3 of the 4 teams that Inked Killers have already played today. So it's going to have to be a rematch in grand finals, regardless. But still, there's a lot of momentum being built up here in losers bracket. We've seen this story before. But the question now is, now that Blue Moon's going to be on stream, are they going to handle that pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny. Myopsidus now out 5th. How many 5th placed results do you need to be able to say you're the 5th best team in low level? There's 2 back-to-back. And Blue Moon able to not have the same fate, looking for a result here over the Elegant Crusaders.
Yeah, we talked about this as much as they might not like that we bring this up. It is a storyline, and we do bring up storylines here. Blue Moon being a crowd favorite, for sure, with the silly stuff that they do on their Twitter. Historically has not been good on stream, and this is a great opportunity to end their losing streak on stream right here. Obviously, they're going to be going up against a tough opponent. But here's just a reminder of the teams that Blue Moon has beaten so far today. They beat Dumplings, Mylag Paradise, Ink in the System, and now Myopsidus, all 8-1 per game results leading up to this one. That's an impressive run, and that's the teams you would expect Blue Moon to be beating. Yes, Ink in the Systems, obviously, as we found out this weekend, they are a monster, and they are a top 10, maybe top 5 team next month. Myopsidus, they have shown consistency, which they have not shown in about a year. They are a legit team as well, but you would expect Blue Moon to be just slightly above them, able to get the win. But Elegant Crusaders, being at least these guys were in the Low Ink pre-show. I think they said they were here as a actual team going forward, or at least the mindset of this being an actual team and not just a pickup. They're a strong team in their own right. Obviously beating Nameless, Drifting Tide, and they beat somebody in round 1. Who did they beat in round 1? The Dumplings as well. So they've beat some pretty solid teams that we probably haven't seen consistently in Alpha Bracket just yet. But this is a clash between two teams that, you wish this was a best of 5 instead of just a best of 3.
I mean, the storyline going into today and this weekend was this idea. This is the last Low Ink before Splatoon 3. And so bans are carrying over. We've talked about it on stream already today, and I'm sure yesterday it was brought up. These teams are fighting for not only the gold medal of, hey, we won the last Splatoon 2 Low Ink, but going into Splatoon 3 saying, hey, we are confidently going to be looking to push this transition into mid-level, whatever that ends up looking like in the new game. And these teams, it's their last time maybe, for many of them, playing a tournament of this caliber with the weapons they're used to and the playstyles they're used to and the specials they're used to, maybe except for missiles. So a lot on the line here, and a lot in that mental. Maybe that's weighing down a little bit more than just the typical, oh no, I'm on stream, I gotta look flashy.
Both teams have this little chip on their shoulder mentality to them to some extent. Elegant Crusaders, again, they seem to be pretty vocal that nobody gave them a much attention, including myself, when we came out with our top 10s and everybody's top 5s and all that stuff. Making a name for themselves here. Obviously, they're guaranteed at least 4th place, but they want to get a little bit more. They want to get all the way to grand finals and possibly win this one because they feel like they want to force us to acknowledge their greatness. And, well, we can see it already. But Blue Moon, the chip on their shoulder, they're gone after this. If they lose this one, they're done from Low Ink forever. And it doesn't matter how much money they try to give me and JPEG or what kind of drawings they want to do for us. They're gone after this. This is the last call for them. So that kind of pressure that's on them, plus being on stream, this is a difficult match built against Blue Moon for a lot of factors outside of their control. So maybe that plays a little bit of factor into this one. But game 1's going to be Splat Zones at Piranha Pit. I think this is a map that Blue Moon likes to be playing on anyways. It's not Rainmaker Humpback. But I think this is ideal. And actually, I think we're going to see a bit of a mirror comp as well. We saw Zenith come out with the Nautilus. We've seen Tri-Slosher being used. This might be about as close to a mirror matchup as we're going to see comp-wise.
Yeah, Blue Moon, I mean, a lot of players who maybe don't call themselves one-tricks, but it's very difficult to look at them from the commentators booth here and say that they don't have a weapon that they like to play, and that their absolute main is. And it's not your typical Splash-O-Matic and not your typical K-Shot. I mean, interesting comps here that are going to allow them to play Splatoon in a way that we don't always get to see. But, we've been spoiled the last set, at least all the sloshers, the Nautilus coming out as well.
And hey, gotta give a shout out to Leaf, fellow Splatling player. They could do more than just Nautilus. They use Hydra and Remix as well. And also, yes, did you see when the World Championships pinged the players on Starburst? They pinged the brand from Blue Moon instead of the brand from Starburst as part of the roster. So yes, we do let Starburst play in Low Ink, and they're still technically eligible for that, as we're going to see here. Honestly, if I'm Leaf, I kind of like using Hydra here. I mean, I don't know how Leaf particularly likes to use their Splatlings here, but being able to use a lot of range here and attack people from halfway across the map with a Hydra, especially if you got a lot of paint built around you in your comp already, that thing can be really deadly. And that's the advantage of not just being a Nautilus one-trick, but maining basically the entire class of weapons. Gives you a lot more capability of things to work with.
Yeah, but you know how difficult it is to push in Pop Gun when your teammates have not found the entry points and you're struggling to find space yourself with that Hydra. It's a target for sure, and if you can get him down, now you're in a 4v3. but that's true for any weapon, I suppose. Splat Zone's on Piranha Pit before I talk myself into a pit with Pop Gun here. A remix coming out from Leaf and a Nautilus on the side of Zenith. A double slosher comp, again, from the side of the Elegant Crusaders.
Yeah, remix a healthy medium between a Nautilus and a Hydra. You can still be crazy aggressive with a remix if you play it right, like a Nautilus, and you still got a little bit more range to work with as well. As we see Armor coming out here early for Blue Moon, trying to take care of this one player behind the pillow, which is the Tri-Slosher. And so far, nobody's been splatted yet, right? Oh, finally, someone from Blue Moon goes down.
Another on the side of Elegant Crusaders. That leaves a 3v3 with special advantage well in the favor of Elegant Crusaders. Armor coming online, but there's an armor missile from Blue Moon. Maybe it's not so one-sided here. Leaf getting a nice assist there. TNT going down. That leaves a 3v2 situation now as they're able to push in his zone, get their first half of the game. A Booyah online for Leaf trying to target this one on the right side here. Gonna be able to find the pick. The zone, though, falling into neutral as respawns come out. Struggling for an opportunity is Portmac in mid. And a very even game now as the zone gets completely neutraled on party lines.
Yeah, I expect this one to be pretty even back and forth. That's how this map is just designed. It's hard to score points. It's hard to get anything concrete going here. But it's just going to come down to who gets white first. We've seen a lot of trades going on. Nobody's really had a clear advantage body count-wise throughout this entire thing. How are you not dead? There you go. It's walking through Brand Muffin shots, finally get taken down there. But again, they're not losing, either side is losing a lot of players at any point, so it's just more of a feeling each other out right now in the first minute and 30 seconds.
Not losing a lot of players, but they're also not losing a lot of points now. I mean, a 4v3 situation with Portmac able to flank around the left side, pop a couple of armors off of him. Now getting a nice 2 there. Behind them, though, behind Portmac is their own team going down to a Tri-Slosher of their own. And finally, we're going to find a victory there. Portmac finding the pick, and now it's their lockout. The first time I think we've seen picks really fly, and points too. And a beautiful one off of respawn. Now as Mertz is stuck in a corner, looking for any opportunity, and they are called out by that point sensitive.
Yeah, this is the first adversity we've seen Elegant Crusaders face so far on stream, but they got a good opportunity here. They got armor on the way. They got Splashdown ready to go. If you can jump Splashdown off of the ramp, but instead survives the Booyah Bomb until they don't, ultimately gets taken down, and Hermit being the last player left alive, trying to make something, just try to stall out the zone. That's a smart idea because you don't have to do much to stall the zone. Wait for your teammates to come back, and now Armor coming online. Great play there by Hermit. That didn't get anything that's going to result on the scoreboard, but they at least stalled it out long enough for the rest of Elegant Crusaders to come back in. That's a great support play.
Come back in, get some picks. It's TNT on their opponent's drop area by these steps, looking for an opportunity. That Tri-Slosher does such a good job on these ledges, and when your entire opponents are all in one stop, it's just a waiting game. TNT just staying here, ready for anything to happen. Armor's online from their end zap as the zone gets neutral, but these points are flying and they're not able to do anything. Finally, Special's online. There's your Armor and Booyah Bomb, and Leaf fighting a nice pick, leaves them in a 2v2 situation. Oh, but there's the Inkjet online, getting Leaf. Portmac trying to find another one. And finally, it's a 1v1 situation. K-Shot via end zap in his opponent's zone. And no lead yet for Elegant Crusaders, but finally a lockout in their favor, and points are flying a cap again for them.
And that was 4 specials that Blue Moon fired off. Oh, that's a risky missile play right there, and they're not going to get punished for it. Instead, die. Okay, ultimately gets taken down there. Lead going into the favor of Elegant Crusaders, and they seem to be in a good situation to get a lockout. A KO as well, as there's a lot of specials that just aren't there. Leaf has a Booyah Bomb ready to go, and now there's Suction Bombs coming out, but their Booyah Bomb's not getting Alpha in time. That could have at least stalled the zone, but still Elegant Crusaders withstand the onslaught coming from Blue Moon, and they take game 1 of this best of 3.
Piranha Pit Splat Zones is one of the most interesting Splat Zones maps, in my opinion. You know, we talked about that early game. It was so stalled. It was back and forth. No real picks flying, no real points flying. And that's how Splat Zones on Piranha Pit works. But the second there's a lockout, breaking back in is so difficult. Elegant Crusaders found the solution, found the picks, and were able to get a hold of their own, and it was too much for Blue Moon to persevere. I hate to say it's because of the remix. I don't think it was. Leaf able to find a beautiful number of picks, but when you're popping 4 specials from steps looking for an opportunity in, you might not find anything, and that's what happened. Elegant Crusaders were able to simplify it out. A Zap versus K-Shot 1v1, and the Zap wins.
Yeah, I think that was just more Blue Moon panicking a little bit. Maybe a little bit of tournament pressure. We talked about being on stream, this being the last tournament. Maybe that got to them at some point at the final play there. But you saw them popping specials, all 4 specials at the same time, and wasn't able to get anything out of it. And then on the second opportunity to try to stop everything, they just popping specials in situations where they probably should have got punished for it. So it's just more of a desperation thing. Playing... Not really playing to win, but playing not to lose, to speak. But I mean, again, you talk about it's the little plays that don't really do a whole lot on the scoreboard to make a difference. It was Hermit with the end zap doing just enough during the big push that Blue Moon had to at least limit the damage, not by getting splats, but just keep tickling the zone and staying alive, waiting for the rest of the Elegant Crusader teammates to come in. So a great team play all around by Elegant Crusaders. And they are now 1 win away from a date with the Mean Girls in Grand Finals. And it's Splat Zones at Anchovy is what they're going to go with here.
I know we ran an In the Zones again finally for the first time in months, but we have seen so much Splat Zones on stream today, Popgun. I'm starting to think that teams don't know how to play anything else.
Yeah, they do. It's just, yeah, but we consistently see this picked back to back. And you know what? In a best of 3, it doesn't really matter. In a best of 5, I typically don't like picking Splat Zones in game 2 if I lost one in game 1. Just because if I lose on game 2, even if I win game 3, our opponent has a lot more different modes that they can work with to try to get that final 3rd game. But in a best of 3, you got to pick whatever you feel like is your best possible situation to win. And if it's Anchovy at Splat Zones, so be it. The question is, are they going to use a Hydra? There it is. There it is. And that's the Tri Nouveau, so they don't have double armor coming out. They do have double armor still. They just don't have triple, so they won't Tri Nouveau.
Double armor, but the Tri-Slosher there with the bombs, that also gives them double splat bombs and a triple there, I assume, from Muffin as soon as their LZE kicks in. So a lot of bomb pressure for the chip, but Boone going down early, coming up with the Nautilus. That leaves a 2v2 instantly. We're not even 20 seconds into the game, and half the players are gone. Simplification is great if you're a Slayer, but no picks are going to be found here as the end zap wants to stay back. Hermit on the left hand.
Yeah, we already played. We got our nerves out in game 1. Let's take the gloves off and just go at each other. A lot of action coming out in the first opening minute here as Blue Moon able to hold on to their lead for now. And Leaf just kind of camping out on that fan. This is a Hydra playground. Any Hydra player will tell you they love being right here. Maybe not when there's an Inkjet right in front of your face from Zenith, who ultimately gets taken down. So the zone will ultimately get cast back to the favor of Blue Moon, and they got another opportunity to create a lockout here.
Leaf holding this left fan, or left wing. I know that's a spot you like to hold with your Hydra.
How are they staying alive over there?
Barely gonna stay alive there as they back up. Armor is ready there. There's the pop missiles with it, trying to hold on the zone here in a 3v3 situation, but the zone's gonna fall and Leaf looking for anything. On the left side, finding a nice pick on Mertz. That's huge, as now it's just Hermit forced to back out. The cap is held by Blue Moon here, and a failed takeover from Elegant Crusaders as they come back to spawn.
Mertz was being more than just an annoying fly in the corner. They were bullying people in there, even though they were 1v3. Finally, Leaf eliminates them. But here comes the armor, and they got an Inkjet ready to go. It's just a situation of where can they find a spot to take off from that Inkjet, and there it goes. One more player make that 3, getting taken down from Blue Moon. But still damage done. They're able to get a sizable lead. Leaf able to jump out. The question is, though, can Elegant Crusaders get control of this enemy plat and create a lockout so that they can just win the game right here?
Yeah, you know, I like the Tri-Slosher Nouveau, but TNT proving burst bombs are superior at times. Finding a nice pick there to lead their lockout. And now they're going to try to find an opportunity on that left side fan as the fight moves over to the right here. Dice looking for an opportunity with that K-shot. They're forced to back out as their armor comes offline. Inkstorm getting popped there. Dice looking for a second pick. Not going to quite be able to find it yet, though. Getting some help from Portmac there as the zone now becomes the top priority in a 3v1 situation. 36-52. It is still in such a fighting territory.
That's an impressive comeback for Blue Moon because they lost the player first. Leaf was the first one to go down, but they're able to bounce back and start working together to create 2v1 situations, and another Inkjet, the third one of the game from Zine, that forces everybody from Blue Moon to back up before they can get control of lead here. Dice dying into the zone. So still, they eliminate a lot of penalty points. Death by Paper Cuts, Blue Moon getting back into this one, but Elegant Crusaders looks to be the stronger team so far in the first 3 minutes.
I'm getting deja vu. Leaf there, forced off the fan, the exact same rotation pattern off of the fan to the right side and into Pillar. And Blue Moon looks so clumped up there for a moment, and even now, I know we look at the overhead here, and they seem clumped again all together, though finding a nice pick on Mertz is going to give them an opportunity back in the zone here, but lead well into the favor of Elegant Crusaders at this point, as they reach the 20-tick point mark. Port back, finding a nice pick.
What? There's so many times where I feel like people should be dead and just they don't for whatever reason. Zone flipping back, but it's not really going to accomplish anything. Elegant Crusaders, yeah, there's nothing Leaf can do right there, stuck in an awkward spot. But time is starting to tick away, and now Blue Moon's getting a little bit staggered as well, so it's going to be a good chunk of time before they're in a position to where they can try to do something here. TNT's trying to punish their staggerment a little bit, and ultimately gets punished themselves. 2 players going down.
Yeah, double there on the window areas. They overextend around the corner, and lead, or zone, sorry, is going to fall back. It's the favorite Messina with a nice, beautiful double in the corner with the Nautilus.
Oh, and Leaf punished
the weapon works, but Leaf able to find a pick going down the lane wipe in favor of Elegant Crusaders. This is insane, but ultimately Elegant Crusaders hold on to the zone, and there are 40 seconds remaining, 30 ticks on their timer. They're looking at a knockout, before the timer ends.
This has stopped being a competitive set. This just became a bar fight all of a sudden. One more player going down for the Crusaders, ran across zone. So this might be the last opportunity for Blue Moon. And nobody's opting to jump out. Whenever they get to situations like this, they say, screw it, let's just see what happens. At the time, one more player going down. Oh, popping inkjet without anybody to go for it, and Leaf punishes that. Both teams have just gone out of control at this point, and it might just be the last team standing that wins, and it looks like it might be Blue Moon here.
A pick there on Mertz is a big opportunity. Portmac now focusing around the left side on this window area, opting not to go for the pick. Now it's just Ian. There's 1 point remains. The zone is neutralized, but the cap falls to Blue Moon, and it's a 1-1 tied set.
That just, both teams just lost control right there. That just became pure chaos. I think 2 teammates were trying to kill each other at some point. I mean, it was just trade after, let me just pop this special, not really combine it with anything. Let me just take this fight, even if it's by the zone or off somewhere far in the distance. All 8 players just went after each other in that last one. And it just so happened that zone was in control of Blue Moon when the dust settled. Okay.
Popgun, I get the luxury of getting to stand up here and scream into my microphone, but these players need to stay on top of their nerves and stay on top of their energy. You can't get too rowdy or things start to fall through the cracks, and that might be some of what we're seeing. You call it a bar fight, and a bar fight indeed, but you've got to stay collected. And tower control storage shipyard you're moving into, ultimately, you lose that mid fight and the game can end in a blink. You gotta stay on top of your defense, stay together, stay collected.
Yeah, in a bar fight, sometimes things get a little out of control. I think I saw Port trying to throw a swing at Dice at one point, and was like, "Oh, wait a minute, you're on my team. Let's go find one of those the purple guys and attack them or whatever." But okay, man, I wish this was a best of 5. This is such a good set between these 2 teams. Tower control at Shipyard is where the tournament fate for one of these teams will be decided. This is the counter pick from Elegant Crusaders, so I'm assuming they're going to come back out with that double slosher comp that we saw them use here last time. Even though it was Splat Zones, they just can't pick Splat Zones, so that's why they got to go with tower control here. But the difference here, if you're Leaf, I know you can use Nautilus, but I love using Hydra here. If you get Hydra set up on the enemy snipe great area, you just completely own that entire half of the map. So it's a question of what adjustment they're going to make, because Elegant Crusaders is going to come out double slosher yet again.
The team stalling our lobby here is Blue Moon, as maybe they get back in control of their bodies after a fight like that. And it makes me wonder, Tower Control Search and Shipyard, not a map that favors... it favors Tri-Slosher on that snipe area pretty heavily, but once you're through that second checkpoint there on the ground floor, it becomes a little bit more even, so maybe not wanting to play into the hand of the double slosher we've seen of Elegant Crusaders. We have 1, but we don't want them an excuse to run 2 and dominate.
Mean Girls watching the stream, waiting anciently to find out who they're going to be fighting in losers finals. It's game 3 of a best of 3 set. Blue Moon looking to advance with their Nautilus comp, and Double Slosher coming out from the side of Elegant Crusaders. No surprises there. A lot of stealth jump on the side of Elegant Crusaders as well, who's probably going to be looking to go for some splats early. Look at them, 3 players grouping up on that right side.
An insta-missile out from Elegant Crusaders as Hermit now uses that as an opportunity to push up the left side. They're going to hop on tower here and try to get a couple points, and a nice pick there for Hermit on the Tri-Slosher. That's who they're picking this map for. Hermit now getting another one there as a 3v2 situation arises in mid. Weren't back on the street with really any opportunity. No points really falling yet, but as this first checkpoint falls, you're going to see the door open to future pushes.
This is a great opportunity for Elegant Crusaders. Yeah, Blue Moon's spawning back in, but they're keeping them away from the tower. Look how comfortable Mertz is right now. And they do get that first checkpoint, and it looks like that's all they're going to get, unless TNT has something to say about it. Able to get a trade as Mertz is able to jump back onto the tower and keep it going. Doesn't get canceled as well. Man, there's so many times where I feel like somebody's going to get splatted and they just refuse to die. And right now, this push still isn't over for Elegant Crusaders.
A push not over, but not quite having the opportunity to move in, stalling that tower around the mid area, wanting to move forward. But there's the advance finally with players and along the special ranger online. And that sniper is a very strong place to be in when you've got a teammate like TNT on the ground floor helping you out. It's huge, and now a 4v2 situation. This is the opportunity. This is the push as they approach the second checkpoint. Armor ready for Blue Moon, but not finding an opportunity to pop it, and there it goes online.
This looks like a set-ending push right now, especially with the second checkpoint falling. Leaf being the last player left alive. Can they keep the tournament going for Blue Moon? And it looks like the answer is no. Elegant Crusaders show why this is their counter pick. They get control of mid, and they never look back, moving on to win losers finals.
Yeah, I mean, such a hype game too, but you got to keep in mind that was Blue Moon's counter pick. That was possibly, you can argue, the best. That
was
Did Blue Moon
Elegant Crusaders counter pick.
Oh. Blue Moon took game 1 and Elegant then in 2-0. You sure?
Yeah, Elegant Crusaders took game 1. Blue Moon
right,
won
so
the
Blue
second
Moon
one.
Blue Moon had the first counter pick, right?
Right. So
if Splat Zone Sancho is the best Blue Moon had, and it was the dog fight like that, I mean,
right.
Elegant Crusaders is going to come out with a counter pick of their own and say, well, if that's the best you got, here's the best we got, and just dominate, walk through mid and get that KO early.
And there you go. Blue Moon finishes 4th place in their final lowing. A fantastic showing for them. Can't say anything bad about Blue Moon. We're big fans of Blue Moon, the people here in the competitive scene. But right now, their story has come to a close, and it's time to talk about the Elegant Crusaders, who have won 2 straight games on stream so far today. And now the question is, because we had a little bit longer of a break than what we normally have, the Mean Girls coming off a 3-0 shellacking by the Inked Killers. What do they have in the tank, as they're now going to be taking on the team that has won 4 straight sets, and the only team to take a game off of Inked Killers all day long in the Elegant Crusaders?
A best of 5 set by design. It's going to give Mean Girls maybe a game to warm up here. But a game in a best of 5 brings you too closer to losing the set. Mean Girls, got to find, as you said, the gas in the tank, but they also got to wake up here. They've had a lot of downtime watching 2 sets on stream. Finding the intel on Elegant Crusaders, but maybe not having the mechanics ready enough to come out swinging. It's always an interesting match in these finals. Always something goes down.
Well, this match is usually built for a team like the Elegant Crusaders to win, right? Just because like we talked about with momentum, the different mindsets both teams are coming into this particular set with. Elegant Crusaders, a ton of momentum. Mean Girls, absolutely nothing. But for both teams, this is a fantastic finish regardless of how things go for the rest of the tournament. Mean Girls, they were 4-2. They barely found a way to get into the set here. And in fact, Elegant Crusaders was in their group. Is this a rematch from yesterday? Searching real quick. It is. The Mean Girls played the Elegant Crusaders in round 3, and Mean Girls won 2-1. So it was seemingly a close set in Swiss, but is extremely difficult to beat a team 2 times in the same tournament, regardless of how lopsided or competitive the earlier match was, as we see the Mean Girls starting to jump back in here. So can they go 2-0 on the weekend over the Elegant Crusaders is the question Mean Girls will have to answer.
Mean Girls, if they took that win over Elegant Crusaders, that was the only loss that Elegant Crusaders took on day 1. So, I mean, it's a bit of a 50-50 if you're only looking at the stats here, but I mean, Popgun, you know me. I'm the kind of guy to sit here and say mentality and how warm you are and how tired you are going to play way larger factors when you're looking at a match like losers finals and a matchup like this included.
Well, yeah, especially when you're the team that lost to the when you're Elegant Crusaders and you lost to this team yesterday, you coming into this one saying, yes, we get another shot at these guys. That's what we want. This is the only team to beat us. We're hungry to get revenge on these guys. So yeah, that's just a little bit extra motivation going into Elegant Crusaders factor. All of those things you can't put down on paper. You can't calculate. You can't determine who's going to have what kind of mentality going into these sets. You can only just look at who's playing for who and what comps they use and what their traditional record is against other teams. But there's a lot of momentum going into the favor of Elegant Crusaders into this matchup of Mean Girls. It just comes down to what did Mean Girls do during the break, right? Did they keep grinding out League so that they can quote unquote stay fresh, not really realizing they're just burning themselves out even more? Did they take a break? Did they watch stream? Did they try to ratio their friends on Twitter? Like, what did they do mentally to prepare for this upcoming set is the question. And it's going to be answered in Game 1 quickly, because this is not the Game 1 you want to see if you're Mean Girls. This is a Elegant Crusaders counterpick. Uh-oh.
Not only that, it's a map mode that favors a lockout much more heavily than I think a lot of other maps do, maybe the exception being Piranha Pit. In a way that you get control of zone, you're burning a special to get the smallest bit of space in your spawn, and you're burning a special to get a little bit more space on the right side, and then you have to still find gas and still find ink in the tank to be able to push into zone and win your fights. So, you know, it's a map we saw Elegant Crusaders pick, and it's a mode combination that can be really difficult if Elegant Crusaders can get a good hold.
Yeah, and I forgot, the Mean Girls, they used the quad comp, but they kept opting to use that C-Jet for splat zones. And it just really wasn't working. So I think they're going to go back to that quad shooter, because I feel like we saw them play this map in mode on stream at the beginning of the day, didn't we? Let me check that real quick, because this looks familiar for them. They played on round 1, and the maps for round 1 was Splat Zone's Art Academy, and Tower Control. They play Tower Control at Shipyard here. So not Splat Zones, but still.
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenging. It's challenging for so many reasons. We've talked about mindset already. We've talked about that mode. But at least the way I've been playing lately, Popgun, I don't know about you, is with this looming Splatoon 3 idea on the horizon. Is a little bit less stressed. I mean, you know, we've talked about the fact that maybe last low ink for Splatoon 2, we gotta come out swinging, we gotta come out strong, we gotta get a good result. But on some level, like almost nihilist of me, of like, you know what, this game is so long, bye. Like, I'm gonna have fun, and maybe some subscribers to that in this lobby.
What'd you say? I wasn't paying attention.
Nihilism?
Oh, okay. Fair enough. But you know what? Yeah, you know what? I haven't really been thinking about this as much as I probably should have. But this is the next to last set we're ever going to see of Splatoon 2 of low ink.
It's gonna make me cry.
Nah, it's not going to make me cry. More than fine with this. More than happy for this, but still, that's that's the whole point of this tournament, right? This is the send-off for Splatoon 2. with Low Ink. The only game we played in Low Ink. So the first time we're ever going to make a transition to another game. And obviously we had a lot of strong teams come out here hoping to win the last one here. And what? Okay, finally. I was about to say, it should not be taking this long to get into a lobby, but there we go. We got 8 players, and we're going to be bringing you game 1. And keep in mind, this is losers final, so it's a best of 5, no longer a best of 3. And game 1's going to be Splat Zones at Shipyard. Which seems, it seems to be a map both teams should be comfortable on.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, maybe now as we wait for this lobby to ready up is a good time to remind all of our viewers that Low Ink has published their transition plan to Splat 3. So if you're considering playing, if you haven't played maybe Splatoon 2 competitive, or if you want to hop on that Splat 3 train, give that a read. I'm sure the link will be put in chat here in a second. Really interesting, I think, Popgun, as a TO for this event, how y'all are handling this, and I mean, you said it a second ago, it's something we haven't really done ever. I feel like no esports have had to deal with this.
Yeah, and if you don't, if you were banned before, you are still banned. That's not changing. Nothing is changing Low Ink ban-wise between 2 and 3. There's no reason to change the bans. We're not doing it. Stop asking. And if you make the joke, if you can be unbanned, you join the list of thousands of people that have made the same unfunny joke. So congratulations to you. We love that. Makes our day so much better. Anyways, okay. Splat Zones at Shipyard.
Here we go, V-Girls. Maybe a even longer break than they wanted. They're facing the double slosher as the quad shooter comes out, and hey, there's no C-Jet. That's a C-Jet-less Mean Girls.
Yeah, you can't.
They're not used to playing. I mean, Popgun. I don't think they weren't making it work before, so opting to switch back and maybe something they're not as comfortable with, but something they're going to be able to run with, hopefully, in a nice 3v3 to open up this game. The Nautilus and the Splash going down from both sides.
Hey, you can't go wrong with K-Shot in any situation. But, that Tri-Slosher is going to be an issue on this map. So yeah, just no Slosher quad shooter coming out from the side of the Mean Girls. And Elegant Crusaders, yeah, this is a map they are thrilled is going to be game 1 here. And they got this huge lead early on and are looking to get the KO. Probably in a good situation to do that right now as the NZAP yet again goes down and they survive the missiles.
Every single member of Elegant Crusaders there was underneath a ledge. TNT looking to push really far up on the left. They're going to do it again here on the right. Mertz was in snipe on the ledge. Everyone looking for the places where your opponents will drop, and it's going to work in their favor as they defend that push in nicely. A 4v2 situation, and now a 3v2 trades going into their favor.
Yeah, Mean Girls can't even get to mid right now. They were able to do so and throw some suction bombs there, but the splashdown... Oh, excuse me, how did Nightmare, what?
None of us saw that. Nightmare taking the left side playing and getting a cap. That's going to be enough for him to stay in this game, and the cap's not even gone back yet. As a player and special advantage in favor of Mean Girls. Nightmare back in the zone now on the right side. Specials are ready. There comes the bubbles. They're going to go down, but finding the pick on the Tri-Slash, the bubbles are out. All of a sudden, Mean Girls waking up, taking some control, taking some lead, and a 2v2 situation and dogfight in mid.
Is this Splatoon 3 yet? Can we use that VOD feature to figure out how Nightmare got back there? Like, nobody was where... That was a KO situation about to happen for Elegant Crusaders, and Nightmare just slipped past behind all of them. It doesn't do much on the scoreboard, because now, once again, Elegant Crusaders still in control of zone, and right back to the dominance that they were showing earlier in this game. But now they got everybody in front of them. Missiles and armor coming out for the side of Mean Girls. But here's Zenith yet again, body blocking everyone away from zone with the Z-Jet.
I almost wonder had Nightmare jumped out after getting the cap there, if they would have been in a better situation. We're going to see it here now, a 3v1 situation in mid. But if you had jumped, if you got in the cap, added more time to the game, and now pushed in as a team, we might have been seeing where we are now a little bit sooner. But Mertz with a nice pick.
Zenith working around this right side, but doesn't have the man advantage to get control of zone. Does take care of Nightmare, though, and stays alive. Andu able to get this the splat right there, and there's a Tri-Slosher in zone with armor to work with, harping armor for themselves. But ultimately not enough to kind of cap the zone right back as the rest of Mean Girls jumps right back into action but not before Elegant Crusaders finds a way to get another cap onto the zone. So things have kind of neutraled out. Mean Girls has started to show some fight here, where it looks like Elegant Crusaders was going to run away with it, but it might be a little too late. Yeah, there's 2 minutes left to go here, but look at all the penalty points about to be erased by the Crusaders.
9 more penalty points remaining in a 2v3 situation. Zenith popping that inkjet, trying to hold your opponent off, and it's gonna work. You see the stall there on the left side as Nani can't find a way in. Cap, though, magically going in favor of Mean Girls as they continue to stay alive just 1 moment longer. Finally now in a 4v3, Ayla painting up the pit, knowing that that's where they went wrong last time. And finally, penalty points ticking down, and they might be getting a lockout here as they find another pick early on the fight.
It's the perfect time for Mean Girls to start getting comfortable now. They got rid of all their penalty points. They got all their players left alive. They're building up some defensive specials, and they're able to kind of deal with the pressure that's being thrown their way. Zen is trying to make something happen with this inkjet. Can they get a pick, though? The Tri-Slosher gets taken down, and the inkjet gets eliminated as well. Unless the Splashdown can do something crazy, it might just be a flip of the script, and Mean Girls wake up, and they do enough dominance at the end here. They get game 1 because there's no way Hermit can get back up there in time.
Yeah, maybe swimming up that wall, a little squid surge would have done us some good there, but unable to find a way into zone, despite finding the pick on their enemy Zap. And Mean Girls, halfway through that set, waking up, showing why they deserve to be in this losers finals, and not taking no for an answer as they got close to getting knocked out twice that game.
You know what? That makes the play that Nightmare made that much more impressive. Because if the Crusaders go on to win that one, who cares? It was just we let this player get behind us. We forgot about it. Ha, funny. But no, that stalled long enough for the rest of Mean Girls to wake up and realize, oh yeah, we beat these guys yesterday. We're the team that's on the winner, that was in winners finals. This is our set to win. We don't need to get run off of the map here. In fact, they're not even going to leave the map. They're going to stay at Sturgeon Shipyard. Let's try that again. This time, tower control.
You know, if Elegant Crusaders can win this one, at least we won't be seeing more Sturgeon this set. But I mean, hey, they proved last set why they counterpick this. It did take them a minute to get rolling in mid. It took them a minute to win their fight and get the ball going. But you know, once it was, the snowballed, and they were able to take a quick KO, hoping to get a little bit more of that magic here against Mean Girls. But you know, maybe a group of teenagers doesn't quite believe.
Snowballs do be snowballing.
They do be.
That is true. Look, I like the fact that they're staying here. No, this is not Nintendo, all right? We're not going to deceive Shipyard nonstop. I'll go, in theory, they can keep picking this. If they don't win this one again, they could go back to Tower Control Shipyard if they feel so inclined. But they feel like this is their best map, and for the good chunk of that first game, it did look like that was their best map, and they did look like it was the better team. It just looked like Nightmare's play was just the jump start that Mean Girls needed to wake up and get back into that one. But if you're the Elegant Crusaders and you come back out just as strong as you started game 1, you're going to be just fine here, especially when you come off of what happened when the Blue Moon set, where you just took control of mid and just coasted to a victory in game 3.
Wake up is the key word there. Mean Girls looking to keep up the momentum and stay awake as they come out to, a duplicate comp, I think, from the side of Mean Girls. And I think the same from Elegant Crusaders, the same map. So it makes sense here as now a dogfight in mid is gonna come out here. And it could be the first team to get a pick is going to win this game.
Well, okay, so there you go. There's your first pick going in favor of Mean Girls. Brush is anointing Mean Girls to go up 2-0. And not a bad decision here, but the question is who can get the actual full wipe and force the rest of the players to jump back. And that's the situation that the Crusaders are able to pull off there. And now it's just a matter of, can you get into position, take advantage of the height that you've gained here with the bridge being up and your arcing weapons to keep everybody away from that tower.
TNT opting to not use the snipe to their advantage, instead try to make some pressure on the left side, and it's going to make sense. We've seen this inkjet here. They're going down to Andu on that K-shot. Missiles coming online. That's probably enough to kill the tower, but not if they go down themselves. And now it's Mertz on the front lines trying to make something happen, going down themselves. Now it's the dogfight on this tower. Jumps coming in, and a full wipe is going to be found for Mean Girls. 24 ticks, but that second checkpoint not fallen, and that's all you need to stay a little bit comfortable in this map mode.
Yeah, clearing the first checkpoint isn't the easiest thing to do in the world, but saving your second checkpoint, that's huge, especially with 3 minutes, 30 seconds left to go. That's the entire game essentially left to go here. And you got a lot of specials built up. You're able to get map control. You got a great situation if you're Mean Girls, kind of like the last game. You got rocked in the beginning, the opening 2 minutes, but now you got a double on the enemy team, and you're forcing Zenith to back up, who survived somehow. But you are probably in a great situation to clear this first checkpoint.
That pick from Zenith might be enough, but going down themselves, now it's special player advantage, Mean Girls in a 4v2 situation. Missiles are online as Nightmare tries to back back into this play. Watching the Tri-Slasher there on the top right is going to give them a little bit of call-out advantage here, but a 3v4 situation, and Nightmare's trying to move up with other players. Armor
with armor, though.
But there it is, the 2 picks with the armor. Now looking for a third as Nightmare, the bomb rush comes online with those missiles dancing with Aleph. I think some friendly fire there again. And the Aleph is going to be able to call out Hermit there on the back line and take this lead. Oh, no! There's a burst bomb! All of a sudden, Elegant Crusaders holding onto their lead by, I think, less than 1 point.
Oh, a tie game, and tie goes to the team that got the lead first. And right now, Elegant Crusaders, by the skin of a burst bomb from TNT, holds on. But still, 2 minutes and 15 seconds left to go. This is essentially a tied ball game. There's still so much action left to be played here. But we'll be revisiting that play later if Mean Girls cannot find a way to get the dub at the end of this one. But the lead starting to move back into the favor. Oh, if they can clear the second checkpoint right now, and Nightmare gets taken down, that's pretty huge. They're going to get it
down as well. A 3v2 situation. Aleph trying to hold on. Finds the pick on tower. That's going to do him something. Now looking at the other one. But Zenith fighting the pick. And that's going to be your play there. Nightmare able to reset the tower. A 2v2 situation. And Mertz backing up. Finding the pick. They're still in a player tie here. But Hermit hearing the call out to back up and rotate around. And they're gonna play another minute if they have to.
Minute and a half, but they got a full checkpoint they got to get across if they want to find a way. But right now, they got to find a way to get out of their own spawn. Elegant Crusaders is just controlling the enemy side of the map right now, threatening to get a KO, and they got the man advantage to work with, and the inkjet, and the specials. GG! The burst bomb keeps Elegant Crusaders in it, and the rest of the players step up and finish it off. We got it tied at 1 apiece.
Where was Aleph? On every defense, we were watching Aleph with that squeezer getting pick after pick on the tower, and all of a sudden, Hermit was riding, I think instead of Mertz, and Aleph was gone, unable to apply that pressure with the range, and the tower is able to just walk up and walk through and find that KO. And
no, you are not going to see Sturgeon Shipyard again in this particular set. It cannot. Both teams have won on Sturgeon Shipyard, and you can't counterpick a map you've won on regardless of the mode. So it's gone forever. We're moving on to something else. Mean Girls counterpick. They can do tower control again if they feel so inclined, but I would probably want to opt to go off of that and go somewhere else, and let's get re-established here in the set and do something that probably isn't going to highlight all the slosher nonsense that Elegant Crusaders love to kind of throw at their opponent here. So I'm not thinking anything humpback wise, maybe nothing Mako Mart wise. Let's find something nice. And actually they can't go to hotel. They already won on Splatoon. So still an opportunity here to make a smart prediction.
Yeah,
and at least it's something else our eyes can look at.
I'm afraid of Mako Mart. I mean, that's one of my personal go-tos. I mean, no matter what's going on, but I mean, Mean Girls here in a tight situation in the counter picks. And I could see some main stage, but I'm almost afraid that it plays too similarly to Sturgeon Shipyard in that Elegant Crusaders unable to go to Splatoons again. Mean Girls maybe playing a little bit into the hand of Elegant Crusaders.
Well, whatever the decision the Crusaders are going to or Mean Girls is coming up with, they're taking a lot of time. Rainmaker at Snapper Canal is the pick that they're going to go with here. I don't think we've seen that one all day on stream. A Lowing classic with canal moments galore. So get the. We should set up a prediction. How many times is somebody going to fall off the map on this one? Once or zero? Because it almost seems to happen every single time. This map rolls its ugly head into Lowing. But I mean, you know what kind of comp the Crusaders like to use. Do you feel good about the double slosher comp they might use on a map like this?
I like it on Snapper Canal, usually. I mean, playing on those hills can be really big, but with Rainmaker, I feel like the map kind of rotates 90 degrees in what is yours and what's your opponent's. Instead of playing for the right side hill and the left side street, you're playing for both on left, usually. You're not normally pushing straight up through street. So those sloshers maybe not going to have so much fun here. And as well with the bomb pressure, we've been seeing the burst bombs a lot, and you know, where a quick pop early on in this game isn't gonna do a whole ton, it can make the difference when you're trying to steamroll through that court area. So I'm skeptical of the sloshers for sure on a mode specifically of Rainmaker here.
You know, I wonder if they picked this one so that they could get back to that C-Jet that they were trying to use in the previous set as well. Maybe they can get a lead and build off of it with Stingray. Hermit coming out with the C-Jet, and Andu going to use the C-Jet we were expecting. Still double slosher, but a little bit of Ray versus Ray action going to be coming out here from both sides.
Elegant Crusaders, afraid to say goodbye to missiles, and opting to run the mini, their Zenith. The first one we've seen them not on Nautilus today, and they're going to try to have to prove it here. But unable to find an early pick as they're forced to back up all the way to Bike. Rainmaker still not popped, and with a Stingray online, if you can just survive a little bit longer or win this Stingray fight, you've got a huge pushing opportunity.
And, you know, they still keep the burst bomb, double burst bomb, triple burst bomb comp actually coming out from the side of the Crusaders as they're able to pick up the Rainmaker and looking to take it the slower side. Stingray's not going to be online for a hot minute. They're starting to build it up slowly but surely, but a lot of points being lit up by Hermit before Nightmare, who has been haunting the Elegant Crusaders this entire set, able to come down and get a pick. And now the Stingray's coming out really early, and oh, that's a interesting spot to fire it. The Andu survives, but it takes attention away from the Rainmakers. They're able to get it up in 28 remaining. That's a solid score on this map.
It's a solid score on this map, but unlike a lot of others, it's really hard to predict what's going to be the winning score here. Sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 60. So 28, definitely a solid push, but you're not done pushing if you're Elegant Crusaders. You want more, you're still hungry. But and a huge player advantage here with missiles online. That might be exactly what happens if they look at a 4v1. Just Andu now up with the Nightmare alive, the last one.
And now this is your opportunity to take it straight down the mid. And with the Stingray to work and TNT flanking, this is a textbook push on this map. And a great shutdown, despite not having the mana advantage into their favor, was Mean Girls, as they don't surrender any additional points off of this push. So far, that could change as the Rainmaker gets popped and Nightmare goes down as well. Now this is starting to look really scary for the Mean Girls, as the Rainmaker still can't find a way to get up that hill, though. Hermit trying to force their way up there, and ultimately gets taken down again. So, wow, I can't believe they aren't adding to their lead here, but if anything, since there still are no checkpoints in this version of Rainmaker yet, oh, they can finally slip through and add a lot to their lead. That push took a lot of time off the clock as well.
Yeah, I mean, another minute gone. Mean Girls doubled the long-range weapons, and maybe that's going to make the difference from last match versus this one with that C-Jet on that defense. But, I mean, obviously able to slip through there and find the lead. And now 17 is the point of the lead. Still, I'm going to make the argument it's not safe on a map like Snapper Canal. You know,
There's one!
there's the Canal moment. Just looking for a nice lockout in mid here is the Elegant Crusaders.
There's one. All right, it's an official Lowing. Somebody DC'd on stream and somebody fell into the river. There we go. A lot of specials were online, and the Squeezer's been holding on to those bubbles forever, and they die before using them. What is the game plan with the bubbles? At some point, you got to start using that. And no bomb rush as well. A couple of players for Mean Girls are having difficulty finding the right opportunity to use their specials. But again, with Rainmaker, they really got to use their specials just once effectively and the game's over, but they might be waiting a little bit too long to find that perfect opportunity. Only 1:35 left to go.
You know, I think they want to use those bubbles on a push. They want to push up street and get those bubbles moving, but it's one of those things where you can't be so rigid in your game plan. You see the bubbles going out there finally, but going down held them again too long. You have to be flexible in something like Rainmaker because, again, one good coordination is going to give you the win. You have to find those opportunities. Early, I know Mertz finding a nice shark there. Not sure if the call was made, and that'll give them a player advantage, which is all they need to win this match.
1:05 left to go, and the Mean Girls have not even sniffed the Rainmaker at this point. They have 0 points put up onto the scoreboard. They've been playing defense the entire time, and now Nightmare's trying to make something happen, but the rest of their friends get taken down on the backside, and now you have the Squeezer with more bubbles ready to go. Once again, there's just nowhere to go. There's so much blue and too many burst bombs getting thrown their way. Nothing happening right there for the Mean Girls.
Zenith doing a good job with that mini, a weapon I said we haven't seen from them, but proving they know how to use it. Missile spam coming online. That's the 4th one this game. 30 seconds remain, and a team that's been showing constant pressure has been able to hold on to mid this entire time, deny anyone. They're playing it like it's splat zones at this point, just guarding that Rainmaker from being grabbed. And one more player advantage, and we might be seeing the end of this game.
And Hermit got the Stingray ready to go, backing up. There goes the bubbles finally, just trying to make something happen, and it's not going to work out. They do pick up the Rainmaker, but they got to avoid that Stingray, and they got to avoid TNT, who's just waiting, and now a pincer situation there. Elegant Crusaders played that one like it was their counter pick, and they go up 2-1.
Mean Girls took an awful long time to come up with a Rainmaker, Snapper, Canal, and Elegant Crusaders proved they're ready for some of these maybe non-traditional or uncomfortable map mode combinations. And it's now Mean Girls' turn to say, well, do we try to find something different, or do we play something that maybe they're ready for, but something we have studied as well? I like the change. I like the way that the Elegant Crusaders was able to win that one, because they had 2 players change. They went with an Anchor with the C-Jet, and they dropped the Nautilus to go with the Vanilla Mini Splat Lane. So they're able to adjust their comp, and it was still the Tri-Slosher that was ripping people apart, regardless of what the comp was. But I like the fact that the Elegant Crusaders was able to switch up what they were traditionally using so far in this tournament against another team's counter pick, and finding a way not just to win, but to dominate the entire 5 minutes and some change right there. The only time the Mean Girls picked up the Rainmaker was at the very end, when they had no choice but to pick it up and to burn all their specials, and there was just nothing for them there. They waited way too long for the right opportunity to do something. Instead of using their specials in a situation here or there to where they could create a play and see if something could happen, and they just got in a situation to where there was just no time left and they had to be forced to do something, playing right into Elegant Crusaders' hands. They can't go here, can they?
Mean Girls cannot. This is an illegal counter pick. They cannot go to Splat Zones. They already won
on Splat Zones. Okay,
I mean, a little bit frazzled here. Trying to pull. So yes, you can't pick a mode you've already won on or a map you've already won on. They've already won on Splat Zones. So yeah, it makes sense that they would want to pick Splat Zones. But we can't let you just camp out on one mode and win low ink, unfortunately.
Finally to Clam Blitz. I don't know about you, Popgun. I'm excited for this one. It's a game that can go to a 20-minute overtime, or it can end in the first 30 seconds. All we gotta see is one good push, one good opportunity. You get control of that car. It's so easy, or so difficult, sorry, to get it back. It's so easy to lock out and keep the clams flowing. But you gotta find the advantage early for that.
I do want to point out, Mean Girls caught their own illegal counter pick before we did. They called themselves out. It's like, oh, hey, we can't do that. But how are you going to get those sloshers off of bridge, though? Those sloshers have been the biggest issue this entire set. And now, if you can get them off of the bridge, and you can find a way to get established, get control, and stay on bridge yourself, you're going to be in a great situation to win. But it's going to be a difficult uphill battle for Mean Girls to find a way to get control of that key area of the map here.
Yeah, I mean, Zenith as well for Elegant Crusaders, having that Nautilus ready. I mean, even, like, Sloshers are so good on top mid, I'll give you that. But I even see Nautilus's take over all of the bridge. They stand on lampposts sometimes, they push up a little bit when they need to, and no one's getting through. So dominant on the top maybe will be Elegant Crusaders. Mean Girls maybe having to play a little bit more around the trees and around the flank through alley to make things happen.
You know what? If you were going to counter against what you know is going to be coming your way, as much as chat will hate this, you kind of need to roll with a V-Jet. A V-Jet can keep the Nautilus honest, and you can start missiling people off of that bridge and use some range there. And they're opting to go with the quad shooter instead. Fair enough. But that, if I'm Mertz, this is my opportunity to shine.
Aleph proved that the squeezer can work to keep the opponent honest. We saw it on the tower on Sturgeon, but they have to do the same thing. They have to keep top mid honest. But the fizzy bomb is coming out from Mertz, who's so dominant on top mid, and Aleph is forced all the way on the left side, and right side peeking, coming in handy for Zenith there as they find the pick, leaving a 3v3 situation on the field.
So yeah, ultimately Mean Girls able to get established control early on here. Zenith going in by themselves, a bold move. But right now, I think that was Zenith trying to get back. I think Zenith was on the enemy side of the map, actually. But here you go. Missiles are, armor being popped here. Nightmare trying to find a way to slip through so they can pop this basket. But they don't have the man advantage to keep this push going. This might be an empty push right now. Aleph able to get control of mid. That is actually a huge pick because they're not going to get anything out of this push, but they can hold control of bridge because of that. Mean Girls are going to be in a great situation to follow this push up.
Yeah, and the fizzy bombs on top mid, we've seen them already dominate, but you can get rid of Mertz, you can get back top mid and make something happen. Zenith with that inkjet already out, looking for an opportunity. Andu, though, able to hold some space and stay alive and hold on to top mid for a little bit longer, but now 2 down. That's Andu going down, and now a fight in bot mid is going to decide who's able to get the push.
A lot of map control now into the favor of the Elegant Crusaders. Been playing very elegantly all day long on stream. Armored Inkjet, this is the last thing you want to see. Yeah, players starting to jump back out. Nightmare not getting the memo before it's too late, and this should be lead into the favor of the Crusaders. And it could be a whole lot more as they're starting to get splats on top of it.
Slams around the area, but unable to stay alive is the Elegant Crusaders. Now just TNT trying to stay up and make something happen, but a full delayed wipe, and there's already paint going down. Nightmare pushing all the way up, knows exactly where to go. They need their teammates to help, but if they can hold some space and force Mertz into an awkward situation, something might happen. But Mertz finding a beautiful pick on Andu in mid, and another one. Then was Aleph down. The K Machine, the best pick for top mid on this map, looking for a third there, and Mean Girls stopped dead in their tracks trying to push back into mid.
I called it. I said Mertz was going to be the one who was pop off here, and they need to find a way to deal with that. That was a 2v1 situation, and they still couldn't put them down. That's going to be the story of the rest of this set. As long as that player just stays on bridge right there, and they don't have a huge lead, but they're going to have map control the entire time the K-Machine controls bridge.
Zenith dropping the ball, looking for a pick with Inkjet, not quite going to find it as Aleph looks to camp that jump. The ball now going down, so able to be picked up by Mertz there on top main. Now a 4v2 situation, just armor alive from Andu going down, just armor ready, sorry, for Mean Girls as the basket gets open. A nice lucky clam spot for Mertz is going to give them a couple more points as the pity ball swims in. 24 more points left remaining on this timer. They just need to find some clams in a 3v2 situation. That's Mertz coming from bottom mid with a couple more, but not able to find the space in time, and their push is going to get halted for now. 24-80, a dominant lead for Elegant Crusaders.
And look at Nami kind of going off on their own, trying to get something going onto the bridge, and Bubbles coming around the backside, but Nami ultimately gets taken care of. As once again, look who's playing defense and is unable to get out. It's the team that's on the back end there. But look at, again, the last player left alive, but it's the last player you want to see. Ultimately, they do find a way to force the K-Machine back a little bit. Question mark? No. They just lost track of them a little bit.
Mertz knows that if they back up, they're not going to be able to find a pick anymore, and so they held forward. and that's going to find them 2. A 3v1 flip-flopping to the other side as Clams get past Zenith, able to open that basket, and a TNT jumping in here looking for an opportunity. Only 2 Clams on their penalty here as TNT finds a nice pick on Nami. That's enough to find a couple more Clams maybe, but it's Hermit who's carrying them, stuck on the flank here area. And look at that, Hermit throwing some Clams off, saying, you know what, 40 seconds left. If we can just play a little bit of defense, this game will be over.
Yeah, and that's really all they got to do. And they got the specials working. The Tri-Slosher getting taken care of is a bit of a concern, though, for Elegant Crusaders. But they do find a way to take care of the squeezer. The basket does get popped. And this power claim's the only thing they have to work with to get some more points on the board. But if they find a way to get some picks while somebody comes around with the Mercy Clam, that'll be enough to get lead. Can they find a way to land it right there? They got the main advantage. They get the lead with 10 seconds left to go. And they might find a way to get the KO right here. One more Clam. They do get Blight. But this game is still not over yet, Brush.
That Clam is going to give them a pity here, even if they don't have one ready, and that's going to give them an overtime. So many Clams in mids, and it looks like there's enough paint that they can see where they are. They need 2 balls and a little bit of change to find the lead, but Mertz going down on the alley flank. Hermit not able to find the ball. Zenith with the second ball looking for an opportunity, but it's just them. They're not going to find a way in. Mean Girls in one push, changing the fate of history, tying this set 2-2.
I don't really know what happened right there. It seemed like they just went in, kind of like what we saw them do against Ink Killers. Just go in there and try to pop the basket and just hope everything else just aligns up into their favor. And that time it just did. They were able to get the splash they needed to extend the game long enough for somebody to grab that Mercy Clam and to land it cleanly. They landed right underneath the basket with a 4v2 advantage. That's just textbook easy way to get lead right there in a comfortable way, and it just all happened right at the right time right there. I was thinking that counter pick was a mistake that they just kind of rushed to when they realized they couldn't pick splat zones, but now the problem is Elegant Crusaders get control of game 5 because they won on Mean Girls counter pick, even though Mean Girls won game 1, and they're opting to go with Splat Zone's Piranha Pit, the one map that chat was begging the Mean Girls to pick anyways.
Yeah, but they have 2 sloshers. It's ramps, and they have the Nautilus. I mean, it's such a strong pick for Elegant Crusaders, and I think what shot themselves in the foot there a little bit was we watched Hermit throw a couple Clams off. They had 40 seconds left. They could have held mid, they could have held space, but they gave all the way to their basket for Mean Girls to take over, and Mean Girls took that space and said thank you and got all the way down to 18 there. But you're not going to see that here. You're not going to be backing up. You're either jumping out and restarting or you're holding space. It's very rare, I think, in splat zones on Piranha Pit that we see people just back up when holding zone.
We saw Elegant Crusaders beat Blue Moon here in the set leading up to this, so they probably feel really comfortable here. The question, though, for Mean Girls, they like using C-Jet in splat zones when it's something you can do. You can do C-Jet here. You can kind of fire a Stingray straight across mid. We haven't seen the C-Jet be as effective as it can be on maps like this. They used it at Hotel. They used it at Anchovy. Oh, I wonder in this game 5 situation if they're going to go back to that C-Jet or if they're going to dance with the Mean Girl that got them here and just go with this quad shooter thing. That's just the debate they're going to have.
Have we seen Mean Girls win a Splat Zones game with C-Jet on stream today?
No, not on stream.
No,
not on stream.
I have not been. They need to prove that it will work, but it doesn't seem like they want to. They've given up.
With it. Yeah.
They're saying we're gonna go to front lines.
I bet if this was like game 1, they might feel comfortable doing that, but the game 5, I think you got to roll with the comp that got you here. I think this is the right play.
Yeah, and Nami is going to try to take advantage now. You know, they don't have the backline. They can take a little bit more space, but never mind. They're going to stay back, get that armor ready, and it doesn't matter. Their teammates are going to find a nice 2 there, a 3v2 situation. Now Aleph moving up into mid, looking for an opportunity. First lockout here can be the last if they can value their lives and stay alive, but Aleph playing with fire as they push up into that drop area.
I think this is the first time all set that Mean Girls has the lead at the start of the game. I think they've been playing from behind the entire set. Actually, no, they have been playing from behind every single game the entire set. So maybe a little bit of momentum from that exciting win carrying over here, and they finally come out and dominate. Well, not dominate, but they at least win the first minute for now.
But winning was maybe for Liz, but I stand corrected. A 3v1 situation. That's twice this game that I have been wrong. And a full wipe for Mean Girls. A lockout imminent. 75 points, but first they got to get through their 10 penalty as Aleph struggles to get set up above against those fizzy bombs from Mertz.
Mean Girls able to do something they haven't done all set, and that is flip the script. That in all 4 games, it's not just that the Crusaders been winning. They've been dominating from start to finish. Now they seem to be really struggling. That last game might have left a sour taste in their mouth, and now the man advantage still into the favor of Mean Girls. A 2v2 situation, but more points, more critical points ticking into the favor of Mean Girls. The Slosher jumping off of the bridge, trying to do some poking there, doesn't accomplish anything other than just stalling out the zone for now. As Nightmare, who switched over to the K-Gal because it's game 5, you got to use the K-Gal, trying to stay alive here, ultimately getting taken down. And finally, the zone gets put into the favor of the Elegant Crusaders.
What happens when you have 6 short-ranged weapons here is that your long-range Alephs on the Squeezer and Zenith on this Knot are going to be deciding how gameplay works. But the difference, I think, is Zenith with this Inkjet puts themselves a little bit into harm's way sometimes going up. We saw them almost get got canceled earlier by Aleph. And it's a difficult fight. But, and there you go. 2 picks going down. Zenith is going to be the one to have to make a call. Mertz, though, finding a nice pick first. And a 3v3 situation as Splatoon comes out of zone to try to neutralize and stall. Lead still in the favor of Mean Girls, though. Elegant Crusaders moving in quickly.
Yeah, the Crusaders were opting to let Mean Girls come into... they were opting to go into the Mean Girls instead of letting them come into... push into them. So that made things a little bit more... easier, I guess, for the counter push of Mean Girls to bounce back into this one. And now they don't got a lot of penalty points that they got to work with either.
Andu looking to make something happen with these missiles. Not able to find anyone quite clumped up, but the intel they're going to be able to give to their team will do a lot. Armor's online against that Inkjet. Both armors now popped. Andu, who's still looking to make something happen, trying to target Zenith there, but going down to Mertz, a 3v1 situation in Elegant Crusaders' favor, and they're going to be able to find the cap and a wipe. The first time Elegant Crusaders have had a dominant lead is now, and there's only 90 seconds left in this game, but that's plenty of time for a complete KO if the Crusaders can make it happen here.
Yeah, they do got the Booyah Bomb to work with, though, being the Mean Girls. If they could find a way to just throw it in one zone to stall it out a little bit. And if I'm the Crusaders, I'm not going to feed into them this time, and they're doing a better job of that. TNT's trying to poke around that right side. Now there's an action going on with the zone, and the Splash Zone coming out a little bit too late to splash those bubbles as the zone does get completely stalled out. And right now, Mean Girl's starting to win the fights as well. Yeah, they were so close to getting lead, but on a map like this, penalty points take forever, and that just couldn't find ways to get the picks when they needed it. And Mean Girl still holding on here. It's the final minute of Game 5.
You called that the lockout there from the Crusaders was wise to stay back, but ultimately it worked against them. The Booyah was able to stall them out, and that's what Mean Girls are hoping for again, popping that Booyah, looking to keep their opponents at bay, but it's not going to work this time. Now going a player down as Elegant Crusaders is a far flank on the left, looking to make something happen, though Nightmare opting to jump out, not wanting to play with that flank, a 3v4 situation, and lead still in their favor, but not quite having the zone and map control that they want. Nightmare looking to find a pick and finding it there. Now another one from Mertz. That could have been the game decider, and Mertz going down might be just that. Nightmare holding forward here as they get control of zone. 15 seconds are left.
Oh, you can't die! Oh, you can't die!
There's no armor for Elegant Crusaders here as zone is in Mean Girl's favor. It doesn't matter what happens now. A 3v1 situation, and with 3 seconds remaining, Mean Girls facing a rematch against Int Killers for your grand finals.
It's really hard to beat a team 2 times in the same tournament. But that was a heck of a set between both teams. And that was the only time Mean Girls looked like they were the better team. And it came down at crunch time. But man, that end zap, if they could find a way, and it's hard to jump out when you're getting swarmed like that, but if they could find a way to get back out and hold on to that armor, there might be an opportunity for Elegant Crusaders to push that to overtime. But still, that's credit to the Mean Girls for recognizing, hey, there's one player right here. If we can take them out before the armor, we move on to grand finals in the able to do just that. The Mean Girls return to try to knock off a team that has been waiting a long time for grand finals in the Inked Killers.
Elegant Crusaders taking a clean third place. They've lost to 2 teams over 2 days. Those 2 teams are Mean Girls and Inked Killers, our grand finalists here. The Elegant Crusaders are the most clearly placed third place team I think I have ever seen in Low Ink history.
Fair enough. I mean, they said they wanted to make a name for themselves. They did that. We see you. We definitely see you now. But for now, we're going to be turning our attention to grand finals. And before we do that, we're going to take a break. We're going to get some water, get some snacks, get some popcorn, see who's complaining about what on Twitter today. And we'll be right back with grand finals of the final Splatoon 2 Low Ink here on IPL.
longest 30 seconds in your life, but this is now going to be the score by Marine Melody. They're behind the basket. Can they get 2 more claims in? It is now a tied game. It's just the Kensa machine. Are they going to get one in? Lily trying to go in and jumping in. Will the basket stay open in time? They did it! Whoa!
To push dead in its tracks. You gotta find Aziz and call him out.
And okay, I was about to say, they got Armored Pop, so there goes the Inkjet, but the Jets gonna be fighting against Armored themselves, and Nightmare's able to, oh, the drop roller! The drop roller survives! Oh, you gotta check them. Gotta check.
But they're struggling to find an opportunity to put in those clams, and do now the last one trying to stay looking for it, and they're not gonna find it. Nightmare, Nami off of this respawn, looking for any chance, so close, and not gonna find it. That's the basket closed, and you're over. Check back into this play. Watching the Tri-Slasher there on the top right is gonna give them a little bit call-out advantage here, but a 3v4 situation, and Nightmare's trying to move up with other players.
But Armor though.
But it's there, it is the 2 picks with the Armor. Now looking for a third as Nightmare, the bomber, comes online with
the second checkpoint now. Insync trying their best. Eevee trying to at least find that pick. That's 2 members down. So they gotta make something, like make it 3 now. Are they gonna get that 4th one? This is looking really trouble for Sia. Wow, Jimmy. you are getting a great pick at hand. Like, look at them. All the members of Drifting Tide are already at their territory, and that's 3 members down on the side of them. I don't know if this could be just a knockout, but I'm not gonna like jinx myself just yet. Flatout could have a chance. They gotta make some picks here to make it happen.
Wow, Trig with the triple.
Take a well-deserved break from the action. Chill out and dive in as we prepare to wrap up this current chapter and prepare to begin once again. Take one last moment to refresh your body, mind, tactics, and moves. Many others will enter this paradise, all with many things to prove. Will the one to win the last Splatoon 2 Major or the first Splatoon 3 Major be you? Come find out. Join us on launch weekend for Riptide 2022. Starting September 9th. Rated E10 for ages 10 and up.
Well, welcome back to Low Inc. August 2022, our last one before Splatoon 3. I'm Brushstrokes. Joining me on the mic is Popgun. You know, Popgun, how difficult it is to lead in without going, welcome back to Low Inc.
No, I don't know how difficult that is.
You should try it sometime.
Was that you floating in the water? Is that what I saw there at the end of that clip?
Me?
That's what I'm gonna need.
Little baby.
I'm gonna need that after this weekend. I'm honestly just gonna go chill in the pool and relax. But the tournament's not over yet. It could be very quickly if Ink Killers keep playing the way that they did in Winners Finals. The question though, it's been a long time and we've seen this before, blah, blah, blah. Hard to beat the same team twice. It's hard to come out strong after a long break. But if Ink Killers just picks up where they left off, they should be pretty comfortable here because they've been dominant all day long.
Yeah, I mean, we just came off of a set, Mean Girls versus, as I forget everything that just happened, the Elegant Crusaders. Elegant Crusaders, as I pointed out before we threw to break, a team that only lost to these two teams we're about to see. So Ink Killers and Mean Girls proving their place here in this grand finals. You know, it is something that it's a cliche we talk about over and over again. The break and beating a team twice. But I think what I hope you're trying to get at, Pop Gun, other than just being salty and old, is that in these grand finals, you sit down to play and all of that fades away and you're just playing Splatoon. Are you choking on water, Pop?
Well, there was some salty old water that I was choking on, you little snot. Game 1, this is a best of 5. If Mean Girls wants to win this whole tournament, they gotta force a bracket reset, meaning they gotta win 3 here and then win 3 more. Ink Killers just gotta win 3 in 1 set and they're moving on. It's the grand finals of Splatoon 2 and Low Ink. Ink Killers, no surprises with the comp they got rocking right there, and nothing changing on the side of Mean Girls as well. Except this time, they are using the K-Shot instead of the C-Jet that they used twice in Splat Zones against this team earlier.
Bye-bye to C-Jet, and they've proved that they know how to play without it. Mean Girls able to take many of the Splat Zones games we've seen without the C-Jet, and that allows for a little bit more flexibility, I think, in how the Squeezer plays. And that's going to allow for a much more beneficial matchup when you're looking at 2 mid-range weapons, the Nautilus and the 96 gal. But so far, no avail. Ink Killers able to take the first cap and pop the first couple specials and take some zones, though ultimately going down in a 3v4 situation now, just when Inkjet ready from flukes. And it is Mean Girls pushing up.
That was a weird opening. Both teams traded control of zone without getting a single splat, and finally people are starting to go down. But it was 30 seconds before I think Batson on the 96 gal was the first one to die. It was a little bit of a weird situation. We got specials, we'll take zone. Oh no, you got specials. Here, you can have zone. It's just what we've been seeing in game 1s consistently. Both teams taking time to feel each other out before the gloves come off.
I'm waiting for the gloves to come off, and maybe Ink Killers trying to get a little bit of that action here, finding a first pick on that 52 gal for Mean Girls, now pushing up in a lockout. 10 points ticking down. You know, we're a minute and 20 seconds of this game, and very rarely are we at a point where we're calling it a winning matchup. But Booyah coming online, and Cap being held, flip-flopping over, it is still player advantage for Ink Killers, and so they are setting up for themselves to keep this lockout going, even if they don't have the points on board. And Aleph nearly getting splatted on that jump out, but again, it's players who are controlling this game right now.
It got some flashbacks to the game 1 of the winners finals right there, where Mean Girls was not able to get splats, but they could get control of zone anytime they wanted, just with the special usage. Able to flip the zone back to their favor again right there, but again, if they don't get any splats, and they're just leaving up to the double inkjet situation going on here to get all the splats on the side of Ink Killers, they're not going to be able to find lead. They got to start winning these 1v1 fights.
Nightmare, the 52 gal jumping out. It's 25 ticks, and now it's looking dangerous. This is where you're starting to go. We got to get specials ready. We got to move now. And the armor online, and a pick there is going to give him something. But with 10 ticks remaining, Nami has to make a hero play. They're the only one in the zone. A 4v2 situation is respawns for Ink Killers, but the zone doesn't come out yet. And finally, the cap is going to switch to Mean Girls. Maybe 3 points is enough, that even without KOing here, that can be a winning push for Ink Killers.
Oh, whoa, what is this? They have control of zone and man advantage. You know what's critical about this? They can finally use their specials, if they can survive this, which they do. They can finally use their specials on the offensive end as opposed to burning every single special just to cap the zone. That was what they were able to do. They were able to cap zone and have missile or bubbles to work with on top of that. But now you see the defensive inkjets, and they really don't have an answer for any of these inkjets so far. But if they can hold on just a little bit longer, which they don't, but still damage done, they finally proved that they can get control of zone and still keep some specials to use on the offensive end. That's a win as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, they needed the specials ready to hold that defense because Ink Killers had all 4 ready to go, and the only one they had ready was armor. And that's not enough when you're facing double inkjet and missiles and armor. And
Oh,
so
no,
now
Booyah Bomb!
Inked Killer's pushing up and trying to do something, and Floops with that Inkjet, as you just called out, able to find a nice pick there on Nightmare with the 52 gal. And once again, Inked Killer's well into KO territory. 5 penalty points are remaining with 3 ticks. That's opportunity, finding a nice pick with a 96. It's just Bubbles and Inked Killers. Game 1 in their favor off of the break.
Inked Killers didn't even give them the opportunity to use their specials to cap zone that time. The K-Gal built up Booyah Bomb, and then an Inkjet was right in their face before they could do anything about it. 8 Inkjets combined. I like this Inkjet meta we found ourselves in. It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, but I mean, it does this. I'm gonna get yelled at for this. It does the same thing as missiles. You're displacing your opponent. You're forcing them to go down or back up, and that's all you need. So complain about missiles. I mean, complain about Inkjet either way. I mean, it's at least interesting to watch, Vodka.
Oh, that's what all specials are designed to do, right? The specials are designed to make the opponent move. And nothing makes you move better than having a missile landing on all 4 of you at the same time, and everyone has to run from each other. But yeah, those Inkjets, to your point, were kind of corralling Mean Girls into corners, especially when they're both popped at the same time. It was like they were shepherds, just kind of leading. All right, you guys have to go in the corner now because we got the Inkjets. And by the time, if they didn't get out, they were getting splatted and didn't have the specials to work with to get control of zone yet again. But now, Clamblitz at the Reef. Mean Girls saved... Okay, quite honestly, without this map, the way they finished this map, Mean Girls aren't even here. They're eliminated from the tournament. So this is their miracle map, and they're using it in Game 2 in this best of 5 because you have to get a win here. You can't go down 2-0 and hope to do a reverse sweep and then win another set on top of that. So this is a clearly must-win situation for the Mean Girls. This is why they're opting to go with the map that they used last time when they had no choice but to win there as well.
Right, I mean, the double Inkjet, famous for what it can do on maps like Tower Control and Tovi Games. By picking Clamblitz at the Reef, you're not opening the door to maybe picking a more advantageous or evenly paced tower map. And so Mean Girls here with Clamblitz at the Reef. It's their miracle from last set, but is it going to be enough?
Mean Girls forced to bounce back here in Game 2 to tie this set up at 1 apiece. Inked Killers looking to go up 2-0 and put this tournament out of its Splatoon 2 misery here. No real comp changes coming out from either side. I think we're just kind of locked into what you see is what you're going to get, unless we get Rainmaker at some point. Get used to the comps you're seeing here. And double Inkjet coming right back out. Keep in mind, double drop roller Inkjet as well. You can't just camp those landings.
You've seen it work once for them with that drop roller. They're going to try to make it work here as well. Floop on the left side. Look how aggressive they're playing, trying to find opponent out of position. And there's Nami, there's Nightmare. That's 2 down, looking for the 3rd now. And they're going to find it. 3 picks for Floops as the clams start flying, looking to put a ball together now. They're going to be a little bit slow on it, but there's the ball. And there's a pick Inkjet online from them. Jur backing around the side, looking for an opportunity. And it's Batson who's going to take the clams home and put some points on the board in a 3v3 situation.
This is starting to get a little out of control here. Batson being the last player left alive, with armor left, ultimately gets taken down. Okay, you are lucky that they only have 50 remaining after that opening push right there. That was a dominant opening minute from the Squid Killers, and even though they got wiped, they're not losing too much control either, so that's kind of the perfect situation for Squid Killers here.
It's the Knot that's looking to control top mid, but opting to drop down the left is going to not treat them fairly. Aleph finding a good pick on them in a 4v3 now in their favor. Armor is online, and so is that Booyah Bomb, finding a nice pick on Batson as the door push along with his bubble combo there. All from the left side, and a 3-down situation. Here we go. Own, and not having the same number of clams, but enough to get the lead there, and now having to back up to find a couple more as the missiles come online. That's a huge special there. That stops anyone from dropping, and it's just Aleph on this plat, stalling and stalling as the ball comes in on the pity, and there's 15 points remaining. There's 3 minutes left in this game, and I'm screaming like there's 30.
Finally, some sign of life from the Mean Girls. And all of a sudden, what looked like to be a dominant game 2 get out of the tournament moment has now teetered back into the favor of the Mean Girls, but now a push coming out from the Squid Killers as Deceased able to keep some action away from the tower, or from the Clamplet basket, and more players going down, and a lot of clamps right here. The lead can flip right back. If they can find a way, they do get the KO. They won't get the KO right here. But still, what a back and forth now. Now what is the response going to be from the Mean Girls? You put up 75 points or 85 points before. Can you do it again and get the KO? Because you're going to have to do that to win.
The game is back to being stalled as clams look equal. So our player is now up to specials. Armor is ready. The missiles were just launched. And Nami's looking for an opportunity, but a 3v3. But there you go. There's the player advantage, and there's the ball. They have 2 more specials ready to go, but Sure is sharking. Are they going to be able to... Out, Sure has to back up and find space. 25 clams are ready to go in, and there's ball. And Sure's wrong side of the map. Bomb, and there's a second ball. They need 17 to close this thing, and Nightmare has just about the number of clams they need, but goes down, and instantly Inked Killers push again. It's deja vu.
Yeah,
that's what happens when it's back and forth like this.
Yeah, you got to get the KO right here. You don't need to mess around with this. Inked Killers need to end this game right now on this push, and they don't have the clams to do that. And now Deceased to be the last player. That is a life, and 2 players left alive, and now they get to rush to the basket, and there's not a lot of penalty points in the way. When they pop the basket, they just got to throw in, 4 clams? And plus they got the Mercy Clam to work with as well, which they haven't picked up yet, and a minute 20 left to go here. Yeah, Squid Killers really needed to end the game right there when they had the chance.
But they didn't, and so now it's Mean Girls with a minute left looking to end the game right here. Specials are in their advantage in a 4v4 though. Aleph getting shot from the left side, a little bit of crossfires. The Booyah comes online along with the armor. Nightmare trying to deal with Deceased on the left side, and there comes the ball in. They're not going to miss it, and that could be the difference in the game. But the bubbles are canceled, and Nami's the last one up with no clams. 50 seconds remain. Mercy clams on both sides. This game is never going to end.
It's just a basketball game. Okay, you scored. Now you get to come to our basket and take a shot. Now, the good news for the Mean Girls, they didn't use their Mercy Clam on that push. So now, literally, I think if they pop the basket, that's enough to tie. They need to pop it and throw in 1 more to get lead. And they still got the Mercy Clam to work with. So they don't really need anything here. They just need to get some splats and win these 1v1s. It's really going to come down to that. Whoever wins the 1v1s right here in the final seconds is going to win this one. Unless Andrew... Oh, Andrew can pick up those clams, but nice pick up there. I don't think they realized how critical it was to steal 2 of those clams. Andrew's trying to just make some sort of sneaky play happen. Can they do enough defense on the backside for that to work out into their favor? And they don't.
A ball will win it.
The Squid Killers popped the basket.
A ball was enough Girls to win, but we watched Andrew do the math, and Andrew couldn't get the clams in time. They were stuck in their head carrying the 2, and it's Inked Killers, those clams, and going end to end for the win. What an intense reverse game. Reverse, back and forth.
That we've seen a lot of Loinks, obviously. I've commentated all the Loinks for the past 2-year grand finals. That's the moment where it slips away. That's the moment where Inked Killers loses that game, and then the whole set goes out of control, and they end up losing in bracket reset. Inked Killers survived that moment. That was their moment to lose, and they survived it. And that might be the tournament because of that one play that they were able to make and bounce back from that. And there was that situation where the Squeezer popped the bubbles and they killed the Squeezer before they could set up a jump that would have given them lead. So just critical plays here and there at the end from the Inked Killers, the experience coming through. That might be your tournament ending game right there. It's just the second game of grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, Mean Girls want to have a word with you. They want to argue that, it's not so binary. There will be those moments in the future, but Inked Killers are 1 game in a best of 5 away. They have 3 more. They need to lose a best of 3 to win this tournament. They are close. And Girls are going to run out of counter picks before Inked Killers get scared.
Yeah, and this is this situation down 2-0. You have to win on this counter pick, which Now, who knows what they could possibly pick? They've done 3 counter picks already against the Inked Killers and have come up short each time. But now you got to win that and then win 2 straight counter picks against Ink Killers, who have only done 1 all day long. And they're opting to go with Clam Blitz again, this time at Humpback Pump Track. Is the map that they're going to settle things on here. But now, again, you just got to win 1 and worry about Game 4 if a Game 4 were to show up. Right now, this is the only map you got to worry about. Mean Girls showed capability in that last one. The question is, are they going to be able to have enough mentality after that tough loss to bounce back and be competitive in this Game 3?
I think a key difference here versus Clam Blitz Reef maybe is that when you're on respawn, you're just a little bit closer to being able to hold on to defense, unless your opponents on their push can take control of plat. And so the question is here is if the pushing team can get a far flank around right or far flank around left, but if they can get right where that basket is, right above it, they'll be able to KO in a push here. But with what we saw last time, the picks were flying and they never really got set up in car, or if they did, there was enough time to regroup and take control. They don't want a repeat of that. That was heart-wrenching for them. It was heart-wrenching for us. It was heart-wrenching for our viewers. And with the same comps coming out again, I'm worried, Popgun.
What are you worried about? That this might be an Inkjet situation again with, no real changes from either side. Absolutely no changes from either side. We're expecting the same thing. Batson getting taken care of pretty quickly, though. As Mean Girls able to establish control early.
Look at those 3 players that move as a unit. Aleph kind of playing from behind, but the other 2 playing in a nice pair, focusing a target at a time. That's how you win your fights. But the second Aleph got disconnected, watch. Ink Killers, Deceased there in particular, able to call the target and force them away. And now they're going to try to do the same thing here in a 2v1. And they're going to find the pick. You can't, if you're going to operate as a group, you have to call the targets. You can't split up. And that's what cost Mean Girls that win.
These Killers, man, these Inkjets. Oh, these Inkjets from Deceased. Oh my goodness.
And that's a full white Ink Killers.
There's your Heisman moment right there from Deceased. Is Flop's able to pop the basket and those Inkjets just being a little too much for Mean Girls to deal with. But yet again, only a power clam and 1 clam get put up on the score when you get a wipe like that?
It's a full wipe in the other way, Popgun. Mean Girl. Maybe a little more stalled, but that's what I was talking about. Respawn point is that much closer to the that you can get wiped and you can still be in the game. You can't KO like it the same way that you can. 4 specials are ready for Mean Girls. They're gonna pop all 4 now, looking to make something happen. Floops desperately trying to swim away from this bomb rush, managing to stay alive for now, but with the burst bombs, Jurin fighting a pick. That could be the play that wins, that holds that defense together.
Yeah, you just throw everything at them and nothing happens, and they still find a way to get to shoot you through the thing. And man, these Inkjets, they just don't have an answer for them. That's another wipe, and surely this one's going to lead to some damaging points now.
Oh my god, Deceased with a beautiful pick off of the rail. That's going to open up the basket this time, and the slight speed difference is going to mean that the respawns are a little bit slower. Batson, a nice assist there. Now looking for a second one, but going to go down themselves. A 3v3 situation with 41 points remaining on the scoreboard. Jur trying to find some clams with the last one alive, but instead finding themselves in a mid-fight, not able to... They want, though, a nice trade out of it there is going to mean they're not completely out of this game. So Nami is set up for a push on the left side. Armor on.
Yeah, Nami's in an interesting position. That's the enemy side of the map, isn't it? And trying to push up that left side with the power clamp. If the rest of Mean Girls can take advantage of that flanking opportunity, and they just weren't in position to do that. A lot of attention was being brought along that left side, but nothing really came of it. There's a situation there, but 2 minutes left to go. Mean Girls have to find something, and again, it's going to have to come from the offensive side, and you're going to have to start splatting people before they get specials. But it's like that. You need to take care of the splash before they can start popping that Inkjet, before armor is dripped around them, and you just got to do this because you can't find a way to deal with these Inkjets. You got to kill them before they even get off the ground.
But it's not happening. Batson all the way, or forced down, and finally Mean Girls getting some skin in the game here, but not able to take the control above on Plaid that they want there. Now going down, it's Aleph with some range trying to make something happen, try to stay alive. and they're going to be able to stall for long enough for their teammates to come online, and with a bomb rush here, try to take some more space, but no pick with the bubbles, and they're going to have to back up all the way. Their teammate now going down in a 3v4 situation.
Yeah, just a little bit of difficulty of figuring out what they wanted to do with those bubbles right there. Just, obviously, you've been punched in the mouth, and it's hard to find the right situation to make plays happen. Deceased, able to get a splat right there, despite having despite being on the enemy ink. And still, this game is just kind of stalled out. But that's going to work into the favor of the Inked Killers. It's really hard to find a way for Mean Girls to get the win right here. They got the specials they need, but the specials just haven't been working into their favor. They take care of Deceased, and they don't survive that, but they do at least have map control to work with until they don't.
Until they don't.
Yeah, there's just nothing for them to do.
Inked Killers finding the player advantage with 30 seconds left and the special advantage now. They don't even need to pop basket. They can play a zones lockout if they want, but I think they want to go out in style. Floops trying to dunk this ball. They're going to go down. That actually could open up some space for Mean Girls, but they're going into armor now, and they need to find some picks. A 4v3 situation in their favor is going to find Batson caught off guard, going nearly staying alive. They're going down finally. A 2v4 situation. Deceased stuck in this ink shed, needs to find a pick to win this game, and they're going to find one. That leaves a 3v2 though. The back open. They don't quite have the clams. They need to sustain this push. It's their last chance. And Nani, the last one up on respawn. Not even gonna go for the pity clam. That's your tournament, Inked Killers. 3-0 in your grand finals.
They took one loss yesterday and took that into this tournament on Sunday and finished Splatoon 2 for all of us in dominant fashion. 3-6-9, what? 16-0 today? 16-1. Yeah, there you go, Inked Killers. We told them this was your last chance to win it, and they said, okay, we're just going to go off and win it. And again, if that game 2 went a little bit differently, who knows where we are now, because then you lose control of momentum, then your mentality starts slipping away, and issues start to rise. That was their opportunity to lose this tournament in game 2, and they survived that. And that is what was able to allow them to carry over momentum and just dominate that third game. And Inked Killers, who finished in second place back in April, avenges that loss, and now they are the final and 45th team to win Low Ink.
Nearly giving me a heart attack were those two teams in game 2 there. Clan Blitz going back and forth and back and forth. And I think Inked Killers just got sick of it. They were like, we were too panicked, we were too rushed, we had all of these thoughts going on. And when they came to do the same thing on Humpback, they said, let's just get a good push and let's just play zones. Like, we don't need to go back and forth. We don't need to rush on these wipes. We can take them a little bit slower. And ultimately, that worked in their favor.
In a great run by Mean Girls as well. Again, they went 4-2 yesterday. They were looking to become the third team ever to win Low Ink after going 4-2 on Saturday. Just wasn't in the cards for them right there. They survived the Elegance Crusaders, the strong effort by them in the third place game, ultimately taking second place. But congratulations to both Inked and Squid Killers, who combined rosters to did the little fusion dance so that they could finish off this tournament in style. And that is it. 45 Low Inks in Splatoon 2, and we're done. We'll be back next month with Splatoon 3. We have no idea what that game is going to look like. We have no idea what the map list is going to look like. It's going to be an interesting time, but we've had a lot of fantastic and great moments here in Splatoon 2, but we're also happy to see it go.
Yeah, I mean, we complain about meta on Twitter, and hopefully complain about meta in person. I know I'm going to both at Shy and Top Gun. I think you're headed to Riptide, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Alrighty. Well, some Splatoon in person. Low Ink's not the last chance to see some wild back and forth gameplay in Splatoon 2. But boy, am I excited to get my hands on the new game and play some of that test fire in person.
Woo. And we did a lot of talking today. We commentated on a lot of sets. That's good. Let's start wrapping this puppy up. Brush, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at BrushstrokesSPL. Popgun, how about yourself?
You can find me mowing the yard because I have been putting that off. But now that the tournament's over, I have no more excuses, so I'll go out and do that. You can also see me on my stream tomorrow on Twitch at Popgun25. We're going to be recapping everything you saw this weekend and also some interesting storylines that took place as well on the podcast, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. From all of us here at IPL are the heads of our organization, Hoenn Hero and Kraken Mayor. The heads for this tournament, myself, JPEG, and Hoenn Hero, our producer, Ink Fair, and all of our lovely and talented staff who spend literally every single day working to verify the teams that you saw today in this tournament. We thank you for watching. We will see you guys next month. And congratulations once again to Inked Killers for winning the final low ink of Splatoon 2 here on IPL.